Good, in Nick's words, good morning, everybody. You're tuned to Computers 2K now on the Nissan Communications Network. I'm Amnon, your host for the next few hours, along with Mike.
Hello.
Spence.
Yes, sir.
Nick.
Good morning.
Our number is 919-518-9773. Computers 2K voice on Skype. Why do I feel like I'm forgetting something here?
JTV looks good, so that's.
Did you hit record?
I hit record. I hit record on TalkShoe. I'm on Block Talk Radio.
Actually, JTV. There's no audio on JTV.
Oh,
Is that what you forgot?
I'll bet now there is. Everything should be okay. Yeah, I forgot to raise the sliders on it. Yeah, I can see it now.
Okay, good.
All right. So we started after Mike and I. Or is it Mike and me?
Me and Mike.
No, you
Depends
can't
on what the
say
rest of the sentence
me
is.
and Mike. You always
Depends
have
on
to,
what the rest of the sentence is.
after we spent time yesterday evening over Skype and resuscitating TalkShoe and Blink. I think we're good.
What?
I think we're good.
Yeah, what happened?
I just couldn't get the TalkShoe to Blink. I thought that Blink was not working because I would try the echo test and it would say, not relaying. So I figured something was wrong. But
And what do you use Blink for?
to connect to TalkShoe, Mike can explain that, I guess. I don't know.
And what are you using TalkShoe for now?
Fine.
For fun
You,
and to
is
see.
you use TalkShoe on this show?
Right
now.
now, we used to. A long time ago, we used to. Now,
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was confused.
we'll see. We'll see how if it brings anybody, if it's reaching out to more people. It's
Masses.
just something else to do here, which is fine. So what's going on?
Well, it's Christmas.
Yeah. It's
Well,
holidays.
Not yet.
Holidays.
Not yet.
No, it's Christmas here.
Holidays.
Yeah, it's Christmas down here.
Sort of.
I think today, actually, you might have one more day to order things from Amazon. Nope, today's your last day to order something from Amazon and get it for
Today.
Christmas. So, today's the day.
I bet I better start doing my Christmas shopping.
I'm tempted to order something, and I want to see when it comes.
Now you got to do all your ordering down at Walgreens, all your Christmas shopping. Walgreens and Rite Aid. That's the way to do it.
Are they the ones that have the commercials that are up? Oh, we're up till midnight. Do all your shopping.
Well, yeah, and Kmart. Okay, but it's pathetic when you go in there. I might go into Walgreens or something, Christmas Eve to get, I don't know, decongestant or something like that. You literally see people shopping.
They're
for
wrapping while
for-
it's like they're in the cart.
It's
They're wrapping
pretty-
it. They're like, all right, gotta get this ready.
It's pretty sad.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny.
Well, people who are of the religious faith who don't practice Christmas, why wouldn't they appreciate the additional hours?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Most of the people I know who work by the hour are desperately wanting more and more hours.
So they can afford to live.
Obamacare.
Yeah.
So they can afford the big $2,500 per year discount on Obamacare.
So now the latest wrinkle, did you hear about this, about how they're now letting people who lost their plans accept catastrophic plans because they can't afford the supposedly affordable plans that they have can now be catastrophic plans, which are much, much worse than the so-called bad plans that they were canceled out of.
No, I heard them say if you like your plan, you can keep your plan. And if that's not true, that'd make them liars. So that can't be the case.
Oh, no. Couldn't be.
You forgot to say period.
But you got to feel some sympathy for the insurance companies trying to deal with this as a change. It's just
that's true.
amateur nonsense coming out of Washington.
These record landslide profits, I don't know how they're going to cope. Have you seen the profits on the insurance companies?
Apple makes more profit than the insurance companies do.
Yeah, but Apple did it in the free marketplace, and I'm not required to buy an Apple computer.
You did
You
anyway.
weren't required to buy insurance until now. So,
Yeah. Oh, well, let's not get off on that. We lost that one.
Yeah.
yep.
Okay, I
Yep.
want to bring something up here.
Okay.
USB extensions. I bought a 32-foot USB extension cable and had great success with it. Has anybody else ever used one?
Never.
I thought you had a problem with it.
I thought we
Okay,
had
so-
15-foot limit.
Well, yeah, so did I. This is a 10-meter, 32-foot USB non-powered extension cable, and I'm using a Microsoft LifeCam with it at 720p, and it's transmitting 30 frames a second.
Well, if it's working, it's working. And a lot of times it has to do with the quality of the cable. Most of these cables that you buy are made with the cheapest, crappiest cable that have almost no shielding and no copper wire in them. And if you've gotten one that's good shielding, low capacitance, then you're getting away with it.
Yeah,
If you
that's
take-
the one I bought, and it's working great for what I'm doing it for. But the one issue that I do have is that I can't have both of my life cams plugged in at the same time with this extension. For whatever reason, it crashes my computer when I have both of them plugged in, one with the extension and one without. I'm not sure if that has. I think I'm overloading the USB bus.
Buy another extension.
What's that going to do?
Just put it in line with the other LifeCam and see if it works.
No. That would do even more damage. I think that the thing is drawing too much power. Because I did it on my laptop without an issue, and once I started unplugging USB devices on my desktop, then it came through fine.
That's
Which
right.
is
That was
interesting.
the problem. Yeah.
So, I think I was just drawing way too much USB power, and I was just crashing the computer.
You can get a USB power block that's nothing but power passes through the signal, so that it
Yeah, I have one of those as well. That's another thing I was going to try. See if I could get that to work.
Yeah.
a powered hub
That's what I have.
at the end of the extension and plug the
You think that's what I should do?
cam into it. It's one thing you can try. Yeah.
You can
Okay.
try it.
A powered.
No. There's a powered one. It has the outlet. Port.
Yeah, that may
Well,
be. That's right.
The trick is that it has the USB, the brick on it, so that
Yeah.
the power for the USB ports comes from the brick at the unit instead of from the computer.
Yeah, no. Yeah, that's what I mean. It's got the wall connector with it.
Well, I haven't done a survey of them, but be careful that the really cheapies may not power the USB ports. They may just power the USB switch. Make sure that they do, in fact, provide local power at the switch for the USB devices on the hub.
I believe they do because I've charged my phone with it not hooked up to my computer before.
That will absolutely tell you.
Yeah. The interesting thing though is if you look at this cable, it's a $13 cable. It's like I said, $13, and it's got 176 5-star reviews. That's unbelievable.
Well,
and everybody's using web.
high quality cable.
Now, here's
for
the thing.
$13.
Here's what happens. The signals down that cable are very high frequency. That means that the two enemies of that cable to working correctly over distance are the copper resistance or DC resistance and capacitance. And that is when you put two electrical conductors in proximity to each other, there will be a certain amount of capacitance between those two cables. If the capacitance is, if a normal cable, cheap cable will work at 15 feet, if you have a quality cable that has half the capacitance of the regular cable, then theoretically that cable would work the same as the 15-foot cable up to 30 feet. So a high-quality cable can give you a better result.
Nick, you bought something that's not Prime?
That's Prime.
I don't see it. Where?
Are you logged in?
Oh, that's right. I'm not logged in. Okay.
No. Oh, yeah. Let's go into the Prime thing, Amnon.
Yeah.
Amnon has Prime issues.
Another thing...
There's more than Prime issues.
It's not... Another thing that you can try just for the hell of it, but taking the risk of crashing, is try and put a mouse at the end of the extension and see what it does.
Yeah. Now it works fine. Now that I unplugged... The one thing that was drawing a lot of power was my capture card. I unplugged my capture card and I unplugged my other life cam, and it seemed to be working fine. So
do you have power supply issues or USB bus issues?
No, it's USB bus issues. I have almost everything on my USB bus.
His capture card is USB.
Yeah, the capture card's USB.
Well, you can just move it locally to a powered hub.
Yeah.
And if you've got that much USB, if you have any open ports, I would get a PCIe USB port.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to pick up. I'll probably get some Amazon gift cards in the next few weeks. I need to pick one of the... I probably pick up 2 of them.
Do you have a PCIe slot open?
I think I have 2 or 3 open.
I don't think you need... Oh, are you talking about getting a USB 3?
You can get a USB 3.0 card.
Oh, no, that's what I get. Yeah, no, I wouldn't get a USB 2 card. I get a 3. And then I'd hook that camera right up to that, because then that's its own bus. I don't have to worry about maxing everything else out.
And in fact, if you're going to run more than one USB camera, you might want to pick up a couple. If you've got the ports, the PCIe slots on your computer, I'd get 2 of them and put one per card, and that's what they tell me. But since it's on its own bus, allows you to mix same devices.
Yeah, I'll have to take a look. I think I might have 1 or 2. I have.
They're not expensive.
No, not at all.
I'm wondering, when you have you said you had 6 or 7 USB ports on the computer itself?
No, I have more than that. Let me see.
I'm wondering, that must be 2 buses. I'm wondering...
I have 13 USB ports on the computer.
As far as I know, the 3.0s and the 2.0s are on a different bus. I don't think there's any way to put them on the same bus.
Yeah, but I mean, even
No,
the
they're on
2.0, you don't put 6 on one bus.
The 2.0s are split.
Yes, so I'm wondering if it's just swapping. I don't know
I
how
did
to
try swapping, but I still think I'm maxing out the USB power.
I mean, it's always better to get a external power for something like that for a cam.
I mean, Mike mentioned a power supply, and I have an 800-watt power supply, and I'm definitely not drawing 800 watts.
No, your lights would be dimming if you were.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's definitely not a power issue with the computer. It's just most likely too much garbage plugged in. But we'll see. I mean, it works now. So with the things unplugged, it worked perfectly fine. It was just the second... Actually, it wasn't... The computer wouldn't crash if they were both plugged in. If I tried to access one of them, that's when it would crash. So I'd go into the Hangout, and the Hangout would pull up my camera, and I would crash instantly.
Now, what are you using that capture card? That's a composite, right?
Which capture? My current capture card?
The USB.
It's HDMI. I'm using it for my Xbox.
Okay.
And then I have my AverMedia card as well, which I'm not using, but it's still there.
Well, yeah. You wanted to talk about Prime, and Nick straightened me out on that too. I ordered HDMI cables for the Adamas, the Ninja 2 that I have here, and ordered one 15-footer and 5 6-footers, because I said, well, one 6-footer is, I can't remember how much it was, like $4 or $5, and 5 of them were like 15, $16. And I said, yeah, you know, they always come handy, so it's okay. And I got the 15-footer right away. And it may have been less than 2 days.
From where?
Everything was from Amazon. And
Do you guys have a center near you?
I have no idea. It seems like I said, wow, I already got it. What's going on?
Mike would know.
And that and the other cables took much longer.
Same vendor?
No. But, you know, I look, Prime, and I don't care anymore. It's Prime. That's it, 2 days. It's Amazon. I'm not going to a certain vendor. I'm going to Amazon. I've got Amazon Prime. I don't have vendor-specific Prime.
Well, weren't we talking about a while ago about Prime being mislabeled on a lot of things?
Well,
where it says Prime when it's not.
Well, now, the issue with Prime is the Prime is shipping. Prime doesn't cover processing. So if I order something from you, Spencer, and you take 15 days to process it, and it comes in 2 days from shipping, that's still technically Prime. It's coming in 2 days with shipping, but if you take 15 days to process it, it's out of Amazon's hands. So the issue that Amazon was having is I think he bought something that was not fulfilled by Amazon. That's the big key whenever ordering anything with Prime, is make sure it's fulfilled.
They should use the same standards that the USDA uses for meat. So Prime would be the really good cut, but you ordered Chuck.
No, but the thing is, here,
round.
I mean, when I was telling Nick about it, he was saying, so let's see, when did you order it? And it turns out that the weekend was in between, Saturday, Sunday. And that made it look like a lot longer. And the fact that I got the first one so fast, I think it was more of a perception. I mean, I don't have any complaints about Amazon Prime, but that was just,
No, it's an interesting thing, though.
I ordered something last night, and it was very clearly stated that we'll ship on either December 3rd or 24th. So Prime started, like Nick said, from the day it shipped, not from when I placed the order.
right.
So where is it going to end up with Amazon? My theory is, and I have nothing at all to base this on, but if I were the CEO of Amazon, knowing that not going to be able to deliver things by drones because of cost, my objective would be to set up warehouses that have shipping within 1 day at normal UPS ground rates within 95% of the people in the United States.
I think that would be, at the current model, cost prohibitive.
Oh, well, yeah, but
he's got to rely on other people's. It's not his infrastructure. He's paying FedEx and UPS to warehouse the stuff.
I understand that, but it might take 10 years. But I don't think that the current model has anything to do with where Amazon is going. They're blazing new trails. I think whenever he made the comment about drones, I think there may have been a modicum of truth in it. Who knows what he's trying to come up with?
Well,
I think he's got his hands on a lot of other things too.
Well, he bought it with a newspaper.
Yeah, he bought a newspaper.
So he shut it down, hopefully.
Yeah,
we'll
I'm
see.
not sure.
I mean, now. I mean, there's a warehouse near Nick. They could deliver everything in that warehouse to Nick in 1 day for no additional freight charges. I mean,
the closest one to me is in Pennsylvania, which isn't
you had
far.
one. Yeah, I thought you had one. But if you go into UPS.com and FedEx.com.
Oh, the actual UPS. You know, there's the biggest UPS distribution centers here. Yeah.
But
I guess.
Look,
go ahead.
I'm saying think outside the box here a minute. Let's assume that we're sitting around the table. If we're Facebook, if we're Google, if we're Amazon, and we want to think outside the box, if we're Verizon Fios, if we're Google Fiber, we want to think outside the box. We want to think down the 10 or 15 year plan. I mean, what's to say that Amazon does not create their own delivery system. They have even their own couriers in their own town. And instead of being burdened with sharing resources with UPS and FedEx, their people are dedicated to delivering only their own goods. Keep in mind, that's what Staples is doing to some degree.
I think that to do that, to create the infrastructure yourself, there's just too much risk.
Today,
yes. But how do you, if you're going to carry literally millions of items, do you have the intelligence built into your back end today to figure out what do I need to stock where? How
That's
many?
the issue.
You know, do
That's
I
why
have
they
this
make
particular
computers.
item? Do I anticipate that this thing that's a new item, I stock 1,000 of them, but the demand is 3,000?
They're dealing with that now, though, Spence. The question is, how do you distribute that over 50 centers instead of 10 centers?
But if you create the anticipation or the expectation that you're going to get it, and you advertise 1-day delivery for all these items, and you can't deliver because you haven't anticipated.
Okay,
then when
that's
you
not
think-
a problem.
But I mean that ruins your reputation.
All right, so let's think this thing through. All right. So in the transitional phase, let's suppose they get to the point that they have 40 distribution centers instead of, I don't know how many they have now. Do you know, Nick?
It's a handful. They don't have a whole lot
What?
of them.
8?
Amazon?
Yeah. How many?
No, they've probably got 10 or 15.
All right, let's say 10.
Yeah.
And a gigantic one that services us is out of Lexington, Kentucky.
Yeah.
All right, so let's assume that they're at 10, they get to 50, because they would need more than 50 for 50 states. They would need 2 in North Carolina, for example, because it's so wide. But during that transitional phase in this business about being able to know what their inventory is and what to stock, that's called logistics. And that is a highly, highly predictable model. But let's assume for those outliers that a particular item, I don't know, a snow shovel in Schenectady, is in very, very high demand, and they have orders for 10,000, and they only have 5,000 in stock. Their logistical predictions would allow them to then ship the remaining shovels from other places at a higher freight cost than it would be if they serviced them from that one day service center. It goes back, right? And it goes back, and let's think again. If they can ship by FedEx or UPS, and FedEx or UPS can make a profit on their freight, then there's some margin in there for them to do it themselves and to make money doing it, or save money doing it, or at least absorb the overhead involved with supporting those less profitable routes, which is where the problem is with mail and with packaging. I'm just saying, don't sell these guys out. And let's go another step. What if, and I've seen this happen, what if Amazon gets up with Best Buy, Amazon partners with Newegg, and these other guys, and not only do they share courier, but they also share warehouse space, and they say, may the best guy win. There are companies doing that now because, I mean, the reality is these companies are in competition with each other, and they're going to probably be there for a while. Amazon can put their head in the sand and say, "Oh no, Racketeers or whatever there is, Buy.com, they're going away," but they're not. They're going to be there, and they could pool their resources and come up with something that they can bypass the middle guy and get keep their higher margins. So that's just my prediction. I think it's going to happen.
See, you mentioned the 5,000. You mentioned the 10,000 snow shovel things, and I understand what you're saying with that, but the whole point of, like, you know, how many of these 32-foot USB cables are you going to stock in your Albany warehouse? I think that's the real issue. That's where I think Spence is making the point of, what do you stock and what don't you stock? I mean, do you stock any of these? Do you stock none of them?
Every inch of warehouse space costs money. Every time you buy one of those from a supplier, you've got to. It's the key to it is that you create new services. You take the hit in the beginning, but if you overextend yourself, you're done.
No question about it. But I mean, I'm agreeing with you totally, Spence. But here's where I'm thinking that things have changed. Do you realize that Amazon could partner with Google for to provide data services, and I will guarantee you that there is a correlation between the number of people who search for USB cable and how many will be shipped to that area by Amazon in the next 30 days.
True.
But
And
if
I
you're
will
off,
assure
if you're
you-
off by a portion of a percent,
Then you
you're
have to eat the freight and ship it from the next nearest warehouse.
Yeah.
It's like you got
They
to
do
go
that
back
now,
to
Spence.
but go back to the model. Remember, was it? It wasn't Pets.com. I think they're still around, but there was a company that was. It was back in before the tech bust. It was like 1999, 2000, something like that. Was selling pet food online, but they were selling a $10 bag of pet food for $8.99 with free shipping, and their cost was $10. And they burned through $40 or $50 million of venture capital money, and they disappeared because they thought, well, eventually we'll figure this out, and they didn't.
Right.
What was that? Was the little talking hand, the little
I don't know. I don't
sock
watch
puppet or
commercials.
something like that? Was their
No, that was Obama.
mascot?
So right.
But no, what I'm saying is, look, and Gene, I read your comment as well, and I don't know. I know you guys have been in business like I have, and you understand what I'm saying, but I think you're both underestimating the value of the data that are currently available that would facilitate this system, and and even then. And Gene says you also can be exposed to obsolete inventory. That's true of every business out there right now, and even Radio Shack of all people has an excellent system for managing obsolete inventory. I don't know what you guys got for email over the last 2 months, but I mean these companies have burned up my email with offers and discounts and specials and things like that. And I read about half of them because some of them are very interesting. I'm not interested in the massages and all that crap, but the electronic ones from Amazon and others, I do scan through those in a hurry. I'm just saying, I don't know that I'll be around long enough to see it, but I'm just saying that Nick in his lifetime will see some, I think, dramatically awesome changes in the delivery system for good.
Well, think about where we are now. Thinking of what we can get today 5 years ago would
Exactly
be, you'd
my
say,
point.
crazy.
Exactly my
you couldn't
point.
do it.
I mean, Amnon rightfully says support your local merchant. I agree with that, because if you don't support your local merchant, where are your wives and husbands and friends and neighbors supposed to have jobs? But whenever you can't even get into the store because the parking lot at Crossroads is so poorly laid out that it takes 30 minutes to get through the stoplight to get out of it, whose fault is that if I decide to come home and buy from Amazon instead of going over to Bed Bath & Beyond? Whose fault is that?
That should be a Harvard Business School and also a civil engineering example to be studied for how stupid it is to build a layout the way that place is and expect it to be successful. I mean, It is successful to an extent, but I have specific ways to. If I had to go buy movie tickets, we always go to a movie on Christmas Day. So we decided this year Crossroads movie had the correct time for us that would fit into the day. So I went over to that area, but I went in the back way. I never even saw the shopping center. I went in and I snuck around the back and went out the back way. You couldn't go near that place.
But the theater has direct parking lot access to Dillard Drive.
And
yes,
access.
and that's why, and that's where I went in. So I
Go to
avoided
Best
getting
Buy.
into the.
Yeah, go to
Buy.
some of those stores that are smack in the middle. Forget it.
Yeah, but see now Best Buy coming from Raleigh, if you're coming from North Raleigh and you can take that loop around
Yes,
access, then it's a piece of cake to
Yeah.
get into Best Buy.
but
If
it's
you're
getting out
coming-
is the issue.
If you're coming from the rest of the world, it's you take your life in your hands navigating that parking lot.
people this time of year too, their brains, they're not thinking about driving. Twice in the last 2 days, I've seen people just blow through red lights full speed. I'm riding along and the red light is there. There's 2 lanes. There's people turning from the left into the roadway, and this person just went right through the red light.
I've seen it.
And more so now because people just have other stuff on their minds.
I could not agree more.
Yeah.
And Nick's out there driving. You really need to be careful.
Oh yeah, no, for sure.
Now, Nick has his smartphone does the driving for him.
I guess
Yeah.
got arms on it.
See, Nick.
So Nick, what is the procedure they teach you in driving school for being able to text and drive at the same time? Is there a certain interval that you have to look at the keyboard versus watching the road?
Yeah, they tell you not even to look at the road.
Oh,
They say it's not important.
okay.
It's the 1-5. It's the 1-5 principle. For every 5 digits that you text, you have to look up once.
No, it's for every 5 text messages you send.
Oh,
You look up for one.
but
And sometimes
but,
every 10. It just
but
depends.
on Friday, Nick sort of like blew my mind there for a second. He got his license. We were talking about Rick's house. And he says, yeah, but tomorrow morning I have driver's ed. I said, what? He's still going to driver's ed even though he's got his driver's license. That's
Well, you
how
have
it
to
works
finish
up
the
north.
course.
What's going on?
you get a
That's how
discount
it
if
is
you
that-
finish driver's ed. You get a discount on your insurance.
Yeah, the whole point of it is finishing the course. You don't. I wouldn't have signed up for the course if I wasn't going to finish it. That's like going through half the year in school and saying, "Oh, well, I think I know it now."
So, yeah, but if they gave you the diploma, you will not keep going to
Yeah,
school.
but you don't go to driver's ed to get your license. You go there to it's
So-
for defensive driving and other things. But
Here
you still
you
have to
do.
finish the course.
You have to complete driver's ed here to even get your license.
Yeah, that's
unless you
my
wait till
point.
you're
Yeah,
18.
Now, driver's ed gives you your 5-hour slip, right?
Well, it's just a different system here that you cannot even get your unrestricted, unless they've changed it. When I've had 3
No,
kids,
you-
Yes,
You-
unrestricted you can't get into unless you finish driver's ed. I don't have my unrestricted license. I have my restricted license. I can only drive with one person in the car and can't
Never
drive after
mind.
me.
Okay.
But see, I think that's the same here now
Yeah.
as well.
Okay,
Yeah.
I was wrong then. I
I'll have
thought
my
that you
restricted
had
license
your
in
license.
February.
That's it.
Unrestricted.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, and as juvenile and restrictive as that seems, as a parent, I'm very supportive of that system because
Oh, it's not. No, it's not restrictive at
Oh,
all.
I
the
think it's a
two
great-
the 2 worst accidents that I have seen is whenever a 16-year-old had several people in the car against the law, and she was distracted and turned in front of a Mack truck at 55 miles an hour.
That memorial is still out there on the highway,
It
too.
is. And it's over near Spence's house where it happened. And these kids were all very popular kids. They appeared to be very responsible kids, working hard in school, not going out and doing drugs and alcohol. But they ignored the law and they piled people into the car and wanted to go out just for a ride. And they ended up making a serious mistake. And the driver of the car lived. But the other 2 were killed, as I recall. One of the kids was a really good friend of my daughter.
And it even made them change that specific accident made them change the way they allow red arrows and turning arrows because they supposedly misunderstood what the arrow meant, that they thought they had the right of way to turn.
I think the flashing arrows are worse.
Yeah, it's confusing. I've driven.
I never-
If you've driven recently on the 55 bypass that goes around Holly Springs, they've added this insane left turn lane for U-turns. You can't make a left turn. You can't make a U-turn at an intersection anymore. You can only make a U-turn around the shopping center by going into these 2 left lanes with 2 red arrows pointing left. So you're driving along from a distance, and you think there's a red light up ahead. You can't tell that the light's green for through traffic. It's insane. It's a bad interpretation of the jug handles that they use in New Jersey. Those actually work because you go off to the right to make a left turn.
So if I'm hearing you correctly, you're telling me that politicians are not the best people to determine what works in traffic flow.
Oh no, they're the experts. They know.
Oh, okay.
They know. They're surrounded by brilliant people.
Okay, just checking.
No, they never ask. Just like Crossroads is laid out, I think they have programs now that say, okay, we have to fit 500 parking spaces into this area. Let's let the computer design it. And then let's also put up restrictions and all kinds of just access is civil engineering is a lost art.
Is that the Department of Engine? I mean, I've always thought the state got their traffic control engineers from the Governor Moorhead School for the Blind. But what educational discipline is it that traffic engineers evolve from?
Well, it's got to be civil engineering. So,
I don't know. I'm asking. Does that seem like the right one?
A friend of mine's brother is a civil engineer, and he designed highways.
Okay, yeah. I was thinking more about traffic control. Kerry spent $11 million for a computer to control traffic lights.
Yeah, that it was never properly programmed.
Well, I mean, details. Their intentions were good.
Didn't they spend a huge amount of money and never got it to work on Capitol Boulevard too? They're supposed to synchronize all those lights.
I don't know if they never got it to work.
You
maybe
can't
they need to call in the
please
Google
everybody.
guys.
You can't please everybody. It's got to
quit
to
whining.
discriminate against some.
Yeah, quit whining.
If you guys didn't finish your shopping, you need to get out there and grab all the 75 and 100 watt incandescent bulbs real quick.
Yeah, I'd already done that.
Hey, Lowe's has a contractor packs of bulbs.
They're not
that you can
soft
buy,
white.
and they're 130 volt bulbs, which means that they last longer because they're designed for a higher voltage, so that they last much. They're not as bright, but it is a really good, cheap way to stock up. Buy a box of 75s, a box of 60s.
A box? We go through a box a month around here.
Why?
I almost never replace any bulbs anymore because I'm mostly
Because
fluorescents.
I believe that our voltage here is too high. We got 124 volts coming into the house, and these bulbs are nominally 120. When you increase the voltage on the bulb, you decrease the life exponentially.
Now, this is some interesting facts, but the point is that light bulb manufacturers will cease making traditional 40 and 60 watt light bulbs at the start of 2014. They stopped making 75 and 100 at the beginning of 2013. In their place will be halogen bulbs, compact fluorescent bulbs, LED bulbs, and high efficiency incandescent, which are just regular incandescents that have the filament wrapped in gas. All are significantly more expensive than traditional light bulbs, but offer significant energy.
That's it.
And cost saving over the long run.
But if I like my light bulb, I don't want to keep my light bulb.
Is there a program for people who can't afford the new bulbs to get subsidies? Has that happened
It's called
yet?
Bulb Care.
The thing is, what they're saying, only 10% of the energy they use, the regular incandescent, is converted into light. That's according to the EPA. The rest of it is all just heat.
So now you got to turn the thermostat up.
Yeah.
I think I have the best holiday gift that's out there. It's
the best thing that they ended up here saying is that there are groups that are against it and all that, but I love what they say, those that are against stopping it. They argue that if the new ones really are so good, people will buy them on their own without being forced to do so.
But that's not what it's about. It's telling you what you can buy and what you can't buy.
Right, I know, but this is a very good point. I mean, if I actually know and can prove that CFLs are better, then I will buy the CFLs.
Oh, you're so old-fashioned.
Yeah. It's interesting how these things. I mean, I didn't even know that they stopped. I probably read it and everything, and didn't even realize that they stopped. You go to Home Depot and you still see 40s and 60s and 100s and 75s.
No, it's just they're going to stop manufacturing them on January 1st.
Yeah.
So
There's a guy who's figured out how to smuggle them in legally, so we're okay for now.
well, there's that company that makes the. They've got a special waiver because they make rough service bulbs.
Yeah, it's
Well,
newcandescent.com.
That's
Yep.
what the
and
one.
they're the ones that make those antique-looking bulbs, the ones for decoration purposes, where it looks like an old Edison bulb you can buy for if you want to have a special effect. It's the same company that makes those specialty bulbs.
That's what the 130 volt light bulbs are. They are rough service.
Yeah, I bought a bunch of 130 volt bulbs a long time ago because I lose so many bulbs around here. But the light from them is really unsatisfactory.
Right. It's not pleasant, but that's what in garages. That's what you use.
It's mind control light.
Morning,
They have
Andrew.
tiny microprocessors in it, and they're flashing a subliminal message to you.
Senor Zarian is up.
But the best gift that's out there today is you can buy a compressed air driven Lego car built not entirely. Some of the structure had to be done from non-Lego components. But I put a link in the chat about a compressed air driven Lego car. It goes 20 miles per hour, and it runs on a 256 cylinder compressed air engine.
Yeah, I think Tata had built one of those.
That was, they had a compressed air in India.
Yeah.
They had I love that picture where the Tata little mini death trap guy was so proud. He was bringing his first car. He bought it. I think it was a gasoline powered or diesel powered small 2-cylinder or something. And it caught fire on the way home.
Oh.
And it had a
He
picture
probably
of people
did something wrong.
standing around watching the car burn.
What'd you say, Mike?
He probably did something wrong. These things just work.
Yeah, they had to.
Yeah, he put gasoline in it instead of diesel or something.
Mike, did you check to see that we are actually on TalkShoe?
I started on it. We're on it. I don't know whether there's any audio there. I'll check to see if there's any audio there.
Because, I mean, last night when we tried it, we had people joining in. Now there's nobody there, so I'm wondering if
But you'll also look to see if anybody even attempted to join. It's been so long since I've been there, I have to look up my password.
Speaking of TalkShoe, where's Steve been?
Well, we don't know.
I sent the letter, Mike, by the way.
Good. You didn't tell me you did. I was going to ask you.
Yeah, I keep forgetting. Every now and then I see your email, and I say, "Oh yeah, I need to tell Mike that I did."
To answer your question, we don't know.
We don't know what's going on.
And we don't think it bodes well.
That's too bad.
There is no way that I can look here on the control panel and tell if we are actually online. Can I? Mike?
It says live now, so I'm going to click on this. And I'm working on it. Carry on.
Okay. Invest in a candle. Nick, what's happening in the game world?
I don't know.
Oh, come on. Let
What?
me redo Nick's lower third.
What's wrong?
Oh,
with
no, it's not. It's got nothing to do with gaming. I forgot. Yeah, lower third is not. It's not Radar Gaming.
Why?
It's correctdigitaldesigns.com.
Oh, okay.
You potated.
Yes, until after the New Year, yes.
Oh, here we go.
What'd you say? Till what?
Till after the New Year.
Sure. Sure. Just too easy.
Time consuming.
Everybody has a tablet?
Yep.
In a follow-up to a story that was in May, the Chicago Tribune is reporting that London-based DataWind will begin selling its $38 UbiSlate tablet computer in the U.S. early next year. The $38 7-inch touchscreen UbiSlate 7CI runs on Google's Android 4.0 and features a 1 gigahertz Google's Android 4.0. Yeah,
Yep,
so
we're
we
working.
are. Okay.
And
What?
and some smart aleck is in there, one of our group.
Why don't I see anybody there?
I don't know. Refresh. Guest 2 is in there.
Sheesh. So maybe that's the problem there. Okay, I will. 1 gigahertz single core processor. It has 4 gigabytes of storage with micro SD card slots for additional storage. The 7-inch display offers a resolution of 800 by 480 pixels. The specs aren't the greatest, fastest, or most powerful, but for under $50, they're still pretty decent. So you can get a tablet early next year for $38 in the U.S.
They already sell those, though.
They do?
I mean, if you go to what's that big box store? Big Lots, right?
Yeah.
You go there, they sell like $40 or $50 tablets, but they're pieces of junk. It's not anything you'd ever want to use.
Because of, when you say pieces of junk, why are they pieces of junk?
They're slow. They're outdated. The touchscreens are horrible. I mean,
Other than that,
yeah. No, that's it. I mean, they're cheap. The hardware on the device, the screen is bad. It's just not a good device.
hater.
If you go on, yes, I'm a hater. Let's see.
You hate somebody?
So we'll find a cheap Android tablet on Amazon. Or
Oh, I saw there's a couple of real cheap ones out there. I think the cheapest one I saw was $49.
yeah, they're very
No name.
inexpensive. I don't know how to sort by price.
Start date. What do you 260? We have an echo.
That's just a file called Star Trek background ambience. Bridge noises.
Be right back.
Let's see. I can't find the cheap tablets on Amazon.
So they have them for less than 50.
Oh yeah.
Interesting. All right, so it's not a big deal.
Here you go. Here is one from Walmart. It is the Max Speed Trio 4.3 tablet.
Mac?
MACH.
Oh, Mach.
Is that how that would be pronounced?
Well,
There
yeah,
it is. $49. It's got 38 one-star reviews.
And what's in it?
A 1.2 gigahertz processor, half a gig of system RAM, USB port, 4 gigs of built-in storage. I mean, they sell these tablets. They're just They're junk.
Well, they may be junk for somebody like you that
Yeah, but they're junk for
is
everybody.
a power user.
Yeah, but I'm not you're not a power user of a tablet. I mean, you can't. My grandfather bought one of these, and it was just the biggest piece of crap in the world. He couldn't do anything on it. He ended up returning it and getting a Nexus. I mean, he's
Part
not
of
a
the
power user.
problem
He plays
is-
games.
That these tablets come from the assembly line where these are the components that failed quality control. Or somebody seriously, no, this is what they
do.
come from.
Yeah, that's how they're so cheap.
Oh, this one isn't good enough for this particular company, but it's good enough for us to build a piece of crap out of. So that's where they come. It's just leftover parts that they third shift puts together into horrible, supposed product.
Yeah, I mean, that's just. I mean, they sell these things, and I guess some people buy them, but it's kind of useless. I mean, you can't do anything more than one thing on it. Good luck playing any games on it.
No, you can. Well, you can probably play Words with friends and.
Yeah, but I wouldn't consider. I mean, like, I wouldn't consider you
No.
can't play like Bejeweled or something on there. No way, that thing is going to lag all the way home.
You could probably play Flight Simulator.
Oh yeah, yeah. Dual boot into Windows and play Flight Simulator. I mean, I think that they're. I just think you're wasting your money, even if you're going to spend $50. Spend $100. You can get a decent $100 tablet.
What about buying them for kids? I mean, young kids, under 10-year-old.
Get the somebody else sells them. I still wouldn't spend $50 on it. I mean, they're going to use it. They're going to realize it doesn't do anything, and then they're going to not use it. Even $100 is cut. Yeah, the Nexus. That's it. That's Andrew said it. Spend $200 on a Nexus. And these things are built for you to use for like 3 months and then throw away.
Yeah, so just throw them away.
Yeah, but then you're wasting $50.
What about those 40 million credit cards in Target?
Woohoo.
Yeah, I'm still waiting to see what happens with that.
Yeah.
We just had our credit card replaced because we got a call from MasterCard saying, "Did you just buy a $600 television down at Target in such and such a place?" And it's like, no.
When was this?
This was a month ago.
Oh.
And we had to wait about 8 or 10 days for the cards to be replaced. But they detected it. But it was nearby, so it was. We think what happened was we bought. I forget whether we bought tickets or something like that, and somebody just copied the number, looked at the card, and wrote down the and duplicated the card somehow.
Yep.
Speaking of duplicating cards, if you purchased anything at Target in the last year, 40 million people have had their cards information compromised, including the card, the name, and the expiration date, and the CVV.
And the PIN numbers if it's a debit card.
So you need to make sure that you check your credit cards if you've ever purchased from Target.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
To their credit, from what I hear, is that they
What credit?
Actually-
What credit?
well, to Target's credit, they didn't sit on it like some other retailers. They actually said it happened between November 28th and December, whatever it was, and they only waited a few days before December 17th.
So did you have to have purchased during that time period, or how
Well,
far
it
back?
just said that they know that's when the access was. It doesn't mean it could be older records.
Well, from what I was led to believe, I think it was just if you bought during that time. That's when the stuff was being taken. It was between
being harvested at that time.
yeah, between Black Friday and
Yep.
was it the 17th or 15th or whenever that was?
Yeah.
Hey, Andrew.
Yeah.
Good morning, everybody. How are you?
Fine, how are you?
Hello.
All right.
All right.
Thanks for calling.
Thanks. I just wanted to give you guys an update.
On what?
How I'm doing.
Take down. So give us an update. How you doing?
Awful.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
I hate the holidays.
Why?
I have to spend money on people I don't really care about.
Well, that's your fault. What'd you
I
get
hate-
me?
Yeah, but
it's
think
too
of the
much
opportunity
pressure.
you have to give them something that they really hate and don't need.
You know what the problem is? I always get people something that I actually would want, and then I always get garbage back.
That's your mistake then.
Oh, look, footy pajamas. I get that every year.
Wow, that's really unfortunate.
Yeah, that's not good.
I guarantee you, I bought everybody Chromecast this year.
Wait, you
And
bought
I
everybody
guarantee
Chromecast?
I'm gonna get a pair of thermal fleece sweatshirt and footy pajamas.
hey, that costs
explains-
more than a Chromecast.
That explains why I got like 30 Chromecast orders on Amazon.
Oh, that was all me?
I was like, who the hell ordered 4 Chromecasts?
No, I ordered more, and I forgot to do. I actually ordered 8 Chromecasts this year, and probably 4 of them registered with it.
I got 5 on Amazon.
That's really funny. That's all me.
The price actually was down. It was at $25 earlier this week.
I got it at
Really?
28.
Yeah, it was at 25 earlier this week, and now it's back up to 29.
Come on, Andrew. They're giving you back more than what you're giving them.
Who is?
Yeah. What you
Why?
need to do is keep a record of what people give you, and then you give them the same thing next year that they gave you this year.
I know what everybody gives me every year, and then I tell them how disappointed I am with the gift.
That's nice.
I mean, I've stopped caring, and I've stopped doing the charade of gift opening. I was talking about it on the free for all of how there's so much pressure on Christmas morning when you, not necessarily with your immediate family, but when you go to like your aunt or uncle's house and everybody's doing that gift opening thing. There's so much pressure because nobody likes their gift. I'm convinced nobody likes the gift, and everybody just lies to each other about how great the gift is and how important the footy pajamas were. Look, I got a robe for the 8th year in a row.
I like robes.
Bah humbug.
Well,
I don't
maybe
remember
it's
what movie
a,
it was, but there was a great scene in a movie where there's a guy getting all these gifts, and somebody gives him one of those. Remember that ab thing you used to have? It was like a frame. You'd lay in on the floor and you'd go like you do crunches
The ab
with.
roller, yeah.
Yeah, so the guy gets one of those from his aunt and uncle or something like that, and the aunt goes to the uncle and she says, "Oh, he has one. He loves it." And look at the guy, and the guy's like 100 pounds overweight. I'm so glad I gave you this thing.
Last year I got a chia pet from a relative. I just took it and threw it right in the garbage in front of them.
well, as you get older, your attitude may change, because I will tell you that I often get things that I don't like or care for. And I'm not, you think I'm just saying this if you want to, I don't care. But I sincerely appreciate every gift that I get, even if it's not what I want or what I would have picked out. The idea that somebody went to the trouble to think about me and to try to think about something I would like, I appreciate it.
I don't.
Well, that's because you're an ass.
My father-in-law every year for the last 9 years will go and spend, I want to say thousands at Brookstone. He just goes and buys everybody the same thing from Brookstone, like a beer cozy and special beer mugs and flashlights. Every year he'll spend thousands. And then on top of that, he'll buy you a $100 gift card to Brookstone. Finally, the entire family we just gave up, and we started screaming at him that we don't want anything more from Brookstone. We literally have the entire stock in our attics because we don't use any of it.
That's not nice.
Well, he needed it. He needed that intervention.
Just take it back.
I've got, you know how many keychain flashlights I've gotten over the last 8 years?
Put them on eBay. Put them on Etsy.
I have the entire stock what I actually envision is that the pallet that they're shipping from China to Brookstone, it's in my attic.
You got all this stock sitting in your attic?
I swear to you. I mean, I would go on camera right now and show you guys what I have.
I don't know why you don't.
Because I'm
I
not
think what you need to do is
Sell
you
it.
need to ship it all to Nick. Nick will go and put it on eBay and split the money with you.
I mean, but what do I do with it? And this is the other thing. What do you do
I
with
just
it?
told you.
I have 4 Australian beer holders. Apparently,
You
they're
don't like Australian
backwards.
beer?
They're upside down. So the beer holder is upside down.
Well, so is Australia.
Oh,
What do you do with that? What do you do
Oh,
with 4 of
man.
them?
I'll tell you a great story. I'm trying to find the article because I know, and there's several articles. There's even a news story on it. My brother-in-law lives in Williamsburg, Virginia. Bob Leake is an administrator of the hospital up there, and he has a friend who's a doctor, and they have been exchanging the same fruitcake for over 25 years.
That's hysterical.
And it gets more and more original. One time it was delivered by helicopter. Another time, my brother-in-law is driving down the road and a police officer pulls him over to give him a ticket, supposedly, and gives him the fruitcake. And then another time, like a special delivery vehicle will come to where the surgeon works, and they'll bring the fruitcake. Every year they try to outdo
That's actually really funny.
what
That's
they've done
awesome.
before.
Yeah.
And it's literally over 25 years. And they one will hold the fruitcake then for that year, put it in the freezer, and then give it to the other when he doesn't expect it. So it's great. It's been written up. It's been local coverage on television.
My younger brothers hate Christmas morning because when they were kids, the entire event of opening gifts was all about me. So it would be how many gifts
No.
Andrew got, and then they would each get one really crappy gift from everybody. But I would get, like crazy, like laptops and computers, and then they would just sit there and just watch me open gifts.
that's horrible.
It is.
They must hate you.
Sometimes they do. I got them a Chromecast.
Oh, Jesus.
At the reduced rate.
Yeah, I paid $29. No, I got one a Chromecast and I got him a keyboard and mouse. The other one I got him the Rocksmith game, which I've heard
yeah.
great stuff about because he plays the guitar. So I got him Rocksmith and I got him guitar holders to mount on the wall.
Nice. There you go.
Yeah, I actually put
What'd
thought
you
in my gifts.
What did you get yourself?
I didn't buy myself anything this year. This is the first time that I did not buy myself anything. I have everything I need. I don't need anything else.
I've never heard that before.
Get over it.
I do want to get the 441. Mike has convinced me that I need this microphone, so I'm going to
Oh,
get
yeah, I
after the
convinced
holidays.
you of that.
What?
I convinced you of that.
You said that your next microphone should be the 441
Yeah, but for why did I say that?
because it's pretty.
Right.
That is what you said.
I know. Not because you had to have it. You've got a TLM 103.
I do have a TLM 103, but it's a very expensive hobby to get into also. To start collecting these microphones.
You can't out Mike.
No, I would never dare attempt to do it. But I don't know what I'm getting this year because Jessica and her mother apparently went halves on all my gifts because it was so pricey.
Or maybe they got
So-
you a Mac Pro.
Oh
12
God! I don't even know how. You know what? I don't know how I would react to
$6,000.
that gift. Like I don't know if I would be angry at them or happy that I got one. I can't.
Probably be angry.
I mean, isn't that thing astonishing
Useless?
that the starting price is $3,000 on something that
Yeah.
is not?
You're
up for
talking
level?
about your wife and your mother-in-law, right?
Yes.
Be happy.
Well, no, they always get me great gifts. I can't ever complain about the gifts that they get me.
Even if they don't. Be happy.
Why?
Because you don't want to show that you don't want it, because then they're pissed at you.
No, I'm honest when I don't like something. I tell them if the gift is not good. There's been many Christmases that I've told Jessica that I hate her gift.
Oh, boy.
You have to
better
be
be
honest
careful.
in life with people.
There's a lot of things you end up doing without if you do that.
Can you imagine Andrew sitting there and he's opening a gift and he's over saying, "Hey, wait, guys, don't destroy the wrapping paper. Put it back."
Yeah, I'm really partial to that wrapping paper. Hold on to that.
Yeah.
I got Jessica's grandmother got me one of the worst shirts I've ever seen in my life. And I told her on Christmas, she's like, "Do you like it?" I'm like, "No, I actually hate it. I think this is the most hideous thing I've ever seen."
Wow.
And everybody started laughing. We come from a very bizarre family, so
It sounds like it.
yeah. Christmas at the Zarians is actually turns into a very bitter thing. By the end, somebody's drunk and shirtless, and we're wrestling each other on the floor.
Is this the potty thing?
No, Mr. Pot, we don't speak about him in public. So, Nick, what are you getting for Christmas? I'm curious what the teenagers want this year.
I'm getting a Chromebook.
You're getting really?
Yeah. Oh. Yeah. I got the.
Are you
Acer's.
gonna remote into computers with it?
No. I'm going to use it at school and use it while I'm home and while I'm not upstairs in my room.
I think that's a good gift, though. I mean, if you look at the price thing, what do you think is the average price for the big ticket items on Christmas? Every year,
Well, this year it's a lot bigger. It's $500 or $100 if you're getting consoles this year. Actually, probably more. You're probably $600 or $700 if you're getting consoles.
Yeah, but you're looking at about $200 to $500, right? Between the consoles, TVs.
Yeah, maybe a little more. I'd say between $2 and $6. But I mean, this is a weird year because of the new consoles. Everybody's getting them.
But see, I think a Chromebook would be something that's appreciated by somebody because it's different. It has like a cool factor to it this year. I think.
Yeah, I mean, it's like that. It's like what the netbook could have been, but wasn't.
Well, the problem with the netbook was that they were awful. I mean, they just weren't.
Yeah, but at least the thing with the Chromebook is, yeah, they're not top of the line machines, but it doesn't run Windows, so you don't have access to do those top of the line things. That's the issue with the netbooks is you could install any program on it. With the Chromebook, you're limited. So, in retrospect, it does great for what it's supposed to do.
So you want me to do the specials now?
Why? So people can get out and why? Do you have to
run
leave
out
work?
the door? No, I heard dead air, so I figured I'd jump in.
Oh. Well, no, because we
no,
always
let's wait
do
a
it at
little bit.
11.
I mean,
so let's. Yeah.
I didn't go. There were actually all the ads were out there today, except for Office Max, but I just picked kind of the highlights. It's just one page.
We were talking about Macs and stuff.
And stuff.
It turns out a MacBook's built-in camera can be activated without turning on the green LED. An earlier report suggested the FBI could activate a device's camera without having the light turn on. And there was a
case.
case.
That's true for all webcams.
Well, and there was a case in the news where a woman had nude pictures taken of her without her knowledge. The new research out of Johns Hopkins University, confirms both situations are possible. All it takes are a few tweaks to the camera's firmware. Now, a few tweaks to the camera's firmware. Does that mean you have to have the computer in your possession?
Or you probably just have to install something.
Right, that's what I'm wondering.
Or if they can get access to your webcam, they can get access to install anything they want.
Yeah. They have control. They have remote access control. They can just take over and install it.
Yeah.
Have you seen, there's been I know this always happens, but I've seen lately there have been a lot more of these phishing attacks or phishing emails that look very convincing to say your Amazon order, information about your Amazon order, click here to confirm the information because we have something got screwed up about the order. And it's a zip file. It's like, and then you look, most people don't pay much attention to it, but I did see that the FBI issued a statement this past week. They're very concerned about the cyber locker, essentially a shakedown or blackmail that is becoming more and more popular, where they'll lock your machine down you've got to pay the ransom to unlock it. But they're saying it's just proliferating, going crazy, and it's from these type of delivery. UPS tried to deliver this box to your house. Please click here for to verify your delivery information, and it's a file. And you look at the address; it's like ups.au.com. So it's convincing, and most people wouldn't pay attention to it.
Well, they'll learn.
Yes,
Yeah,
they
they
will.
will.
The hard way.
But the consequences are getting even more dire now because these crypto locker, you can't remove it. You cannot because there's not a good way to get around it. It's not like you can remove the virus.
You can get a Mac.
There is a much better way to get around it.
Get a Mac.
Get rid of a computer.
Back it up.
Well, Amnon, you got to back it up to get it back. So
Don't use email.
I actually did. You guys see the article about Microsoft? Their what is it? Microsoft Defender. I forgot what the virus is called. Their antivirus. That it only picked up 32% of the latest viruses that are out there.
Yeah, it was published by Mac people.
I was actually surprised to see that article.
Well, Defender isn't antivirus, is it?
Yeah. Anti-spyware, antivirus.
Oh, then why the hell does everybody install Security Essentials?
I think that covers. I'm sorry, it missed 39% of malware. It was actually PC Pro Magazine.
That's
in the
Defender,
test.
though.
The problem is today's Defender, that's like in Windows 8, is antivirus, anti-malware. The original Defender that was available for
Spyware.
XP was only anti-spyware. They kept the name, they changed the way it works. So they're probably talking about the new one in Windows 8.
Yeah, well, Windows 7,
Yeah.
Including Security Essentials. So they're saying that it failed to detect 39% of real-world malware thrown out there. Dennis Technology Labs did the test. It's actually surprising because it is a very good antivirus and and malware protection.
It depends also who put that report out, Andrew.
Dennis Technologies.
Did you ever discuss this on What the Tech?
No, we don't talk about viruses. It's too boring for me.
Viruses.
Virus.
We talk about phones and gadgets.
And but you're a Windows fanboy, so.
I absolutely, I'll be honest with you. I can be honest on this show because it's early
No, you
morning
need
and
to
I don't know what I'm doing. I absolutely hate Windows and I hate PCs.
Yeah, but you still have to use them.
I have to use them. I
you
absolutely
don't.
hate Windows 8. I think it's garbage.
No,
I
you
think
need to
it's-
go
it's
ahead and
a-
get all
it's a-
Mac and forget about it.
It's a Frankenstein experiment gone wrong. It has an identity crisis. It is not what people say it is. And if anybody tells you that Windows 8 is great, they are insane.
Then I think you should go all Mac and get away from this.
Steve Ballmer said it was great.
Okay, it makes it
Steve
official.
Ballmer is out of his mind. It is. I don't understand what they're trying to do. And you know what? They're driving people away from PCs.
Oh, they're not.
They know that, by the way.
No, they are driving. Of course they know that. You know why? They're adding the start menu back. They're adding boot into Windows, the desktop back. They're adding a feature in the next version where you can pretty much hide Metro. And then what they're going to do, if you're going to run Metro, you can have it as a floating window within desktop. This project is over. The big problem for them is Enterprise. And Enterprise is, they're either on XP right now and they're getting ready to go to 7, or they're on 7 and they're terrified to jump over and go to Windows 8. So what are these people going to do when it's time to upgrade?
There are whole departments in large companies now that all they do is perfect their own version of Windows 7 to load onto new hardware that they buy. They don't buy the license for Windows 8.
Sure, I mean, Spence, you have experience with this stuff. What's going to happen? I mean, a lot of corporations are still running Windows XP. So they're about ready to upgrade. They're about ready to go to the next whatever that they're going to do. They're going to do a major company-wide upgrade. What do these companies do? Because whatever computer they buy, whatever Dell Enterprise machine they buy is going to be loaded with Windows 8.
Well, if they're big enough, they just buy in bulk with no license.
Right.
Yeah.
And
And then they just
that's
preload
what I'm
Windows
saying.
7 on
They
there?
perfected an image. They have an image that they'll push down to their users. That's their corporate image. They have people that know how to take and roll up a build, and they will specifically work with certain. They will standardize on certain hardware, 2 or 3 different model laptops depending on the use, 2 or 3 different model desktops, and they will build an image that they will push to these machines.
But what are they building? Windows XP?
Windows 7.
Windows 7.
Windows 7
7.
corporate Enterprise Edition or Ultimate, depending on what they choose.
If you're buying enough of them, you can get it pre-installed on your hard drive. But just like Spence says, they create an image and then they just burn it to all the computers.
Yeah, because they've got their own whatever apps they want.
How productive is that these companies now, they're not jumping to the latest version. They're jumping to a version that's 4 years old.
It's always been
3
that
years
way.
old.
I had, for your information, I used to do some work with GlaxoSmithKline, major drug company. And whenever Windows 2000, actually Windows XP came out, they were still using Windows NT 4.0.
Mm-hmm. And a lot of people still do.
Well,
Yeah, but I
don't know
mean, that
about
was a different time also, Mike. I mean, you did not have the exposure to all these problems that you do now. People weren't on the internet like they're now. We weren't aware of malware and all these things. I think it's actually a danger to the company to run on an older version.
Well,
A lot of it depends on also, and what you're saying is true, but a lot of it also has to do with there are things like the Sonic Wall firewall, the Barracuda firewall for email. There are also a lot more defenses. At my office, we use, I don't remember the name of it, but we use a very sophisticated spam firewall for our email. I may get 5 spams a year.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's time for the companies to upgrade. The company that I worked at a couple of years ago, before I started going insane in podcasting, the company that I was on was using an older version of Outlook, an older version of Office. And obviously it was 2008 and people are emailing and they refused to upgrade to a new version of Office. They had to upgrade because the PST files, if you guys remember on older versions, were capped at 2 gigs. So when that PST file would load up over 2 gigs, it would corrupt itself. And they refused to upgrade because the corporate heads at corporate were not giving them the okay to upgrade, so they couldn't upgrade. So what they were doing is they were splitting PST files. It's insane.
Right.
And they refused to upgrade. They finally just upgraded to Office, I think, whatever the version is, 2008, 2007.
Right. Well, there's a new problem. I mean, the Office 2013 is not exactly the most usable, most friendly upgrade either. I'm not sure how that's going to roll out. At our office, we are always on the latest release cycle for anything that Microsoft does because of our licensing. We are on Office 2010. There is no discussion yet of moving up to Office 2013. That's not saying we won't, but there's not this big rush to do it.
listen to this. An interesting bug regarding update dependency circulation has been found in Windows XP. By design, machines using Windows Update retrieve patch information from Microsoft Update servers. That patch information contains information about each patch, what software it applies to, and critically, what historic patch or patches the current patch supersedes. Unfortunately, the Windows Update client components used an algorithm with exponential scaling when processing these lists. Each additional superseded patch would double the time taken to process the list. With the operating system now very old, those lists have grown long, sometimes to 40 or more items. On a new machine, that processing appeared to be almost instantaneous. It is now very slow. After starting the system, svchost.exe is chewing up the entire processor, sometimes for an hour or more at a time. Wait long enough after booting, and the machine will eventually return to normalcy. Microsoft thought it had this problem fixed in November's Patch Tuesday update after it called the supersedence lists. That update didn't appear to fix the problem. The company thought that its December update would also provide a solution with even more aggressive calling. That didn't seem to help either. For one reason or another, Microsoft test scenarios for the patches didn't reflect the experience of real Windows XP machines. It seems like their own algorithm is screwing it up. And I'm wondering here, you know, all them files in the Windows folder that are the updates, all those that are in blue with the $sign in front of them, whatever. I wonder if deleting all of them would make the process faster.
No, those are stored files that have to do with uninstalls.
Oh, that's right. That's what they are. Yeah, never mind.
This whole business about the Windows Update, is this saying that people are finding is this the 100% CPU problem with XP?
That's one of the things that they're talking about, the SVC host.
I've solved all that.
How?
Here's what happens, and Andrew thinks it's silly to talk about Windows XP, but there are still people using it, and there are some people using it for legitimate reasons. I even have a friend who is using it because the software that he has is keyed to the hardware and to the software, and he cannot move this very expensive software over to a new machine. He has about 8 computers in his room. One of them runs XP to maintain just that software. Mm-hmm. Now, having said that, what if his hardware dies? Then he can go back to his image.
Right.
The problem is that if for some reason he hasn't backed up an image in over a year, he restores that image, does Windows Update, it may not run, because what has happened is somewhere along the way, based on this is, somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but this is what I have determined at this point, somewhere along the way, Microsoft rolled out an update to Windows Update through Windows Update. And that is that the system that you restore the image from a year ago and then hit Windows Update does not have all of the necessary components that it needs to successfully perform a Windows Update. The problem that you see when that happens is 100% CPU. Now, depending on when that update was last made, if you let the computer run overnight, it will very slowly bring in components and update the computer, and it will start working correctly. However, some systems do not have the ability to retrieve the missing components. Someone out there, I don't know who it was, I need to find it, actually created a batch file that uses a lot of system commands to go to Microsoft's FTP server, individually grab the components necessary for Windows Update Agent, WUA. It then compiles the exe on your computer, runs it, and then deletes itself so that your Windows XP computer can now access Windows Update so long as 2 conditions are met. The first condition is you must have at least IE8, and the second condition is you have to have Service Pack 3. If both of those are met, and both of those can be downloaded directly from the Microsoft server without Windows Update.
Right.
If both of those are met, then run this Windows Update agent, and all of a sudden your computer starts working again. I've had to do it 10 times in the past 6 months.
You have that batch file?
Sure. I sent it to you.
You did?
I did. I'll send it to you again.
Send it to me again, please.
Okay. I told you this, Amnon, because, and I'm glad you asked me that, because where you will really run into this is that if you have to rebuild an XP computer from the ground up, such as a lost hard drive with no image of that drive, mm-hmm. you cannot rebuild unless what you're reading has changed things, and I'm not familiar with this. In fact, I wish you would post the link to that article in chat because I missed part of what you said. But unless they have fixed it, you cannot go back to an original Windows XP CD and recreate XP operating system on your computer. It will not work.
All right.
In fact, I'll post the batch file for anybody who wants it if I can find it.
Keep it going. I'm going to go and get it off the other computer and paste it.
Okay, because I'm going to look. I got to figure out what I did with this file. I know I've got it here somewhere. Ugh. Oh, by the way, Nick,
Yes.
I'm using my new i7.
Wow. How many months was it?
Mazel.
I got it in March.
Wow, very nice.
How do you like it?
You know it's interesting. It turns out that it only has 4 gig of memory,
Yeah.
Wow.
and I started looking around for memory, and then I'm surprised how much memory is now. I don't know whether it's been that high, and I haven't paid attention, or whether the price has gone up recently.
What are you looking
But-
for? It's a laptop or it's a desktop?
Desktop,
How much is the memory that you're looking at?
$95 for 4 gigs.
No, that's way too high.
A 4 gig stick of PC3 128
Oh,
12.
you're
that's-
looking at one stick.
Yeah, no, that's probably right.
One stick of 4 gig is 8. I found it for 85 actually.
No, RAM's expensive.
No, I mean that's it. Probably went up. I don't remember it being that up. That
No,
high.
it just recently went up. We talked about this a few months ago, how the price of the memory is going up.
You're looking at DDR3, right?
Yep.
Let's see. I'm looking at one right now, $37.
PC3 128 12800.
This is 10600.
Okay, it has to be 12800.
Okay. So let's get
One
4
stick.
gig. Let's go to.
And I don't want some crappy unheard of brand.
I mean, I just bought an 8 gig stick, and it was like a good brand, and I paid $50.
Actually, let me qualify what I just said. I need 8 gig sticks.
Oh, so you looked at an 8 gig stick?
Correct, because there are only 4 slots, and the computer will take 32.
Yeah. Okay. So
You're gonna get
looking
32
at
gigs of
anywhere
RAM
from
for it?
$60
No, I'm only gonna
to
get 16.
$100.
Okay.
Yeah, $72. You could get a good set.
Link me up.
You're looking at on Amazon, Kingston HyperX 8 gig. Oh no, they're 2 4s. Okay, never mind.
Right.
They have gone up. The price has definitely gone up.
Well, I don't like that.
What's attributing to this?
Obamacare.
Possible.
There you go, Mike.
I'm working on it. I found mine too. All right, we want to add this to a zip file. I'm working on it.
Mark, are you going to send me a virus?
Yes.
919-518-9773. Computers took a voice on Skype. Hey, Nick, what happened to Bitcoin?
Nothing happened to Bitcoin.
I thought it lost a lot of value.
Yeah, I lost a few $100s in value.
It
And
did because China's not accepting it, right?
Well, the hype went down. People, the hype went down.
And what is that Litecoin?
Just another Bitcoin alternative, I guess. Nothing
Different-
much
Trying to
to
get in on the action.
I would.
Yeah.
I would invest now.
Nope, too late.
I've
Why
already put
would
my
Litecoin?
entire retirement into it, Andrew. On your recommendation.
You're going to do it.
I did. Thank you.
You're welcome. I've always been right.
Right.
So what's the Litecoin at right now? Let's see.
Litecoin, last time I checked, was at like $40.
It's
It
16.
might have gone up.
16 US.
$16?
Yep.
Yeah, it's useless.
It's not useless. This is the ground. This is how you start in. You get it at 60. It's 16 US for one Litecoin.
You know how long it
couple
takes to mine a
Litecoin.
Litecoin?
What?
You could spend days mining a single Litecoin.
That's fine.
No, it's not. You'll spend more than $16 in power.
Well, you know what? That you yeah, but the point is that you're going to mine them now. You're going to invest the money now, but in who knows? Like in 2 years, that thing might be worth $2,000 a Litecoin.
I don't think so.
It's a long-term investment.
No, it's not. No. These things are useless. Nobody's going to ever accept these. As
It's
a
The
form of
same
currency.
argument was for Bitcoin, Nick, and now you're going crazy.
Yeah,
to get your Bitcoin.
but look at Bitcoin. It was at $1,000 2 weeks ago, and now it's at $600.
That's the stock market. That's how you
Did
do
you
it.
sell yours?
No, and I never got them. Yeah, but it's more than the stock market. I mean, so when Andrew, you're a website that has to accept Bitcoin. You accept that you give somebody $1,000 product. The next day, it's worth $600. You just lost $400.
No, you have to be on top of it, just like any other commodities, just like any other currency. You have to adjust your currency for that.
Nick,
for that point.
that's how the stock market works. You buy
I know
stock
that's how.
in a
No,
company.
I know how that's the stock market works. But the whole point with, I mean, this Bitcoin is it goes up when the news talks about it. That's it.
Yeah.
That's how everything. That's how the value of currency works too, Nick. The replacement of Bitcoin is not necessarily currency, but it's replacing gold and silver and platinum investment, because the price is so high you can't get in. So people are now, instead of investing in stuff like that, they're investing in Bitcoin. It's not an automatic. Right now, it's not a stable investment. So the people that are accepting Bitcoin right now are taking that risk in accepting it, and they're doing it pretty much as a gimmick. But in 10 years, when this thing stabilizes, it may become a currency of the internet.
You know who makes money from it right away?
Oh,
Obama.
Graphic cards manufacturers.
Yeah.
sure. I just downloaded Litecoin for my Mac. I don't know what to do right now.
Good luck mining it on your Mac. You need a good GPU.
There was an article there that said that that Litecoin mining is causing a shortage.
Well, all algorithm-based mining uses GPU to solve the algorithms.
Yeah. And there's apparently shortage in high-end GPUs because of it. So that's,
That's good.
it's like gold was just discovered and everybody's bought all the shovels and nobody else can get into it because there are no more shovels. Or shovels now cost a lot of money.
Yeah, I don't know. This
You know
stuff
what?
is
I
not-
made a mistake with Bitcoin. I had an opportunity to really get into it.
Coulda, woulda,
Early
shoulda.
on.
Coulda, woulda, shoulda.
Yeah, but there's
I
other
made-
issues
I
with
made a couple
Bitcoin,
hundred
just that
bucks from it because a
rather
friend
than
of
it's
mine bought it
unstable, being unstable.
What'd you say?
I made a couple $100 because a friend of mine bought it for me. He had Bitcoin early on.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, there's another issue that people don't talk about.
What is that?
There's no backing behind it.
Right.
Yeah.
What happens? What
Well,
happens
there's no
when your
backing
Bitcoin?
behind the U.S. currency
I was
either,
gonna
except
say.
the good faith of the
No,
government
no,
of
no.
the
But
U.S.
you look at a bank. If a
Same
bank,
thing.
if something happens to a bank, they can guarantee you your money.
Not always. Not every bank.
Up
They can
to.
only guarantee you up to
yes.
what is it? 250,000.
Well,
Oh, okay, so yes, we're talking. So if you have $100,000 in the bank, it's guaranteed by the bank.
Right.
Okay, so but
What
let me give
happened-
you
what
this.
it's
happens-
guaranteed, not guaranteed by the bank. It's guaranteed by the FDIC,
By the FDIC, which is the
Okay,
government.
but you
by
get
the
your-
federal
but-
government. The bank,
But you
could,
get your money,
could-
correct?
The bank could just go
Well-
under, and because they take that money and they invest it and they loan
Again, Nick, it all depends how the economy is doing. If the bank went under, and for the same reason the government is broke, you're not going to get your money back.
But at
There'll
least there's
just
some
be another
institution
creditor in
backing
line
it,
waiting.
right?
So Nick, let me give you this example, okay? Let's talk about a stock, a company like GE. GE was at, let's say, $100 4 years ago. The economy tanks. They file bankruptcy. Their stock plummets to $2. Where was the backing in that? There was none. You were investing into a company. You were taking a risk into a company.
I'm not talking about the backing in terms of getting your money back. If somebody robs a bank, you don't lose your money. If somebody compromises your computer and steals your Bitcoins, you are screwed. You are shit out of luck. You have no Bitcoin.
What happens if a CEO compromises the integrity of a company and drives it into the ground?
I'm talking about bank, not the stock market.
Well, let's qualify this. Let's assuming you're talking about a standard federally regulated bank that it has FDIC insurance. So long as you don't have over the limit, which I currently believe is $250,000 in the bank, then you are protected so long as the government is here to protect you. If the banking system crashes, you're toast.
Yes, you are toasted. But right now, if you have $100,000 in the bank and the government has money, you will get your money back. Is that correct?
The government has no money now.
You'll get the money, but Nick, we cannot look at it as a currency at this point. We cannot look at it as
but that's what everybody's saying. It is a currency. That's what all of these Bitcoin people are talking. It's a currency. It's a currency. It's a currency.
It's the early days of a currency. So you got to remember, it's the early days of it. The same argument was being held for the euro. Big analysts were saying how this thing is going to plummet and this thing is awful. It's not going to survive, and you're going to lose your money when it was 50 cents for a euro. And what happened? The euro is doing better than the dollar. The same thing was said about U.S. currency.
All I'm saying is that there's no credibility behind this thing. Your Bitcoins are in a mining pool. That's how the Bitcoin thing works. You mine in a pool with everybody else. You mine in a pool with 100,000 other people, and you work to get Bitcoins in that pool.
Think of the Bitcoin then as a stock, but the problem is that there's no product or assets backing it.
There you
go.
Like
Facebook, like Social Security.
So look back in history at banking, and 100 years ago or so, every bank had their own currency. You could go and you would get a dollar bill or whatever it was, the face value was of the bill would say Bank of Chicago worth $1. It was because the bank stood and backed that currency. And if you went to a store and they might honor it, they might not. And there were people that made significant money just trading money. Well, I'll give you $2 for that $1 worth of that bank's money. And it was all regional. It was all based on the current economic conditions in the area that you lived in and availability of commodities. That's why it was popular to trade in precious metals, because they were in and of themselves worth something.
Yeah, I mean, look at all the people that invest in precious metals. I mean, that right now, obviously, it's going up due to weird hoarding of precious metals, so the price is going up. But really, you're going based on the concept that gold is valuable because it's in demand and it's scarce. There's not too much gold out there, but in reality, there's more than enough gold out there.
Let me explain to you my example.
Is a totally inflated, bogus price.
Let me explain to you the issue that I have experienced, and then that will sum up why I think Bitcoin is a joke. I have 3 Bitcoins in a mining pool. The mining pool shut down. I can no longer get my Bitcoin. I worked hard to get those 3 Bitcoins, and the pool shut down. The Bitcoins are invalidated. So now they're useless. I have 0 Bitcoin.
Invalidated?
They're gone. They're not there anymore.
But Nick, I mean, other than, and I'm not blaming you, but if you were on top of it, that might have not happened.
Great. If I was on top of it, it might have not happened. But how can you use a currency where you could be mining it in a pool and the pool says, "Hey, you know what? Screw you," and just closes down? That doesn't work.
Well, Mike, let me ask you this: What happens with a company if a company files bankruptcy and you have stock in them, and 10 years later you realize that you had stock in them?
You're toast.
You're toast. You're not getting that money. That money's gone.
Kind of like people who invested in General Motors when the government took over.
Think of it this way. The people that make money in this environment are people who can have their finger on the button to buy and trade, buy and sell, and monitor. I mean, there are companies that make money by buying stocks and holding them for 30 seconds. And they have a room full of people that all they do is monitor conditions, and they make these short sell. The average person can't do this. The average person, no. If you have 3 Bitcoins, you're not going to be waiting in front of your computer watching the price go up and down by the minute. So That's why long-term investing is a much better story, where you spread your money out across multiple types of investments.
I mean, but the problem
Bonds,
with long-term
stocks.
investments,
So,
I mean, I'm a short-term investor. I understand the purpose of long-term investing, but because the market is so unstable, I don't necessarily think long-term is. I'm talking about real long-term. I'm talking about mutual funds that mature in 10 years and things like that. I don't know if that's necessarily a way to go, because you're not seeing returns like you used to. You're not seeing a 6% return on a portfolio that someone has had for 6-7 years.
I disagree, because I think that if you look at, I've been investing in 401k money and all that for over 30 years, and I look at the track record I have, and since I started using a financial planner about 10, 15 years ago, I have done really well despite all of the drops, because I've been consistent. I'm not putting a lot of money into any one thing, and he keeps adjusting it for me as we go, and I'm following along. And you look at the average rate of return over all those years, it's 6 or 7%.
See, but you're dealing with a financial investor.
Well, I'm dealing with somebody who knows what the hell they're doing.
Yeah, see, you have to be on top of it.
I can't watch.
How about all those companies? How about all those companies that have offered 401ks to people, and people have worked there for 20 years, and the stock bubble collapsed in 2008, 2009, and they've lost $60,000, $70,000.
There was just a story I was reading about, and it's a case that's coming up. I think it's going to go to the Supreme Court, about a company that offered a 401k, and it was mainly based in the company's stock. What was it now? Fifth Third Bank, which is an odd name. But they apparently offered a retirement plan that was bank stock, and they were over-representing to the employees the value of the stock and the value of the name. And the stock tanked, and people's 401ks went to crap. So the problem with that is that they had such limited investments. You should never put your money into the company stock. A great story. But when I worked for Nortel, the stock was going through the roof back in the late 90s, early 2000, before the market crashed. It was doubling, and they were doing stock splits, and the price would go back up to the same price again. People were putting their entire retirement into company stock, and then the stock tanked.
Nick,
And
bottom line?
eventually was worth zero. So some people lost their entire retirement because they did that.
Nick,
Yeah.
bottom line, it's all your fault.
You're a victim.
Yep. Whatever.
No,
You have to
diversity.
be on top of it.
It's okay. It's all now that the news thing is done, it'll go back to what it was before, a useless currency. This Bitcoin thing has been around since the early 2000s, and nobody's given two craps about it.
Right.
Since it was on the news, it's useless.
Yeah, I was lucky with some of the pension stuff. I have a small IBM pension, which thank God is at least decently funded, and the Nortel pension that I had actually went to the Pension Benefit Guarantee Trust, which is a federally backed, for whatever that's worth. So I didn't have a big pension, so I didn't.
Oh, yeah,
use
that
it.
makes me feel better.
I had
I know.
something called the Smith-Barney Preservation Fund. This is probably early 2000, 2001. So pretty much a stock guaranteed you that no matter what happens, you get whatever you invested back. You will never lose on your initial investment. But you were getting 6% a year. So for a couple of years, I was getting 6% a year. And then when the stock started tanking, they just, one day I got a letter saying, we're giving all your money back. This isn't working anymore.
Great.
I mean, that was a great investment. Give us a couple grand, and we guarantee you will never lose. The worst that'll happen is that you'll get whatever you put into it.
There are a lot of people that are still promising that.
Are they
They
still doing
say
it?
that they say, "Oh, our customers never lose money."
Right.
Well,
I don't know if I would rather lose money or just make 0.5% a year. It's kind of sitting there as a waste, right? You could have made money. See, I like
key
high
is
risk
to-
stocks because the reward is a lot higher. And knock on wood, I've been pretty lucky with the way that I've selected my stocks that I've never really lost.
yeah. I did pretty good back in 98, 99. I was buying chip stocks. And
cheap?
chip microchip. I was both the companies that made the chips and the companies that made the equipment that made the chips. And I was buying over the course of a year. It wasn't a lot of money. I mean, I wasn't investing, tens of thousands of dollars. It was a few $1,000s here and there, but it was great because the stock would go from 30 to 50 in 5 months.
Yeah.
And it was because the demand was so high. And then it was just an interesting time. If you had money to invest and you could monitor and pay attention, you did well.
So BlackBerry announced a $4.4 billion loss and a deal with Foxconn to outsource hardware manufacturing. One interesting stat is that 75% of sales were actually older BlackBerry 7s. That said, CEO John Chen said, "We are very much alive, thank you." And he adds, "Our for sale sign has been taken down, and we are here to stay." BlackBerry recently announced it has entered into an agreement to receive a strategic investment from Fairfax Financial and other institutional investors, which represent a vote of confidence in the future of BlackBerry. Would you invest in BlackBerry now?
No.
I think that's dramatically overstated.
So I just looked at my portfolio. I haven't looked at. I don't have a lot of stocks left, and I bought a penny stock. It was 0.8 of a penny about 8 months ago. Right now it's at 51 cents.
Hey, if you bought 1 million shares of it, then you're doing good.
Let's see how many shares I have. I totally forgot how many shares I have.
You mean 10 million?
Well, what's
Actually,
a million?
it's a pretty good. It's a pretty good return I've made. I have Ford still. I have three shares of Ford. It's not bad.
Hey, Ford is doing well. They're expanding. They're going to be hiring people this year. They're bringing out a bunch of new lines of cars, and they're doing really well. And I'm not a big fan of heavily unionized manufacturing because it adds costs, and it really does prevent people from, in some cases, from excelling on their own because you're tied to everybody else. But hey, they didn't take the bailout. They decided to stick it out on their own, and they came through it okay. Had some good management in there, and the unions actually gave them some concessions that helped them get past it. So, I would consider buying a Ford vehicle.
I'm looking
never
at my
buy
stock.
a GM
I'm looking at
or
my
a Chrysler.
stock right now. I bought Ford at $2.20. Closing on Friday was $15. And I'm looking at my Sirius stock. I still have quite a few Sirius stock. I bought it at 5.20602, so about 5.5 cents, and it's at $3.52.
Yeah, I'm about to shut off my Sirius service.
I'm at about 6,000% return.
That will really be a
Andrew.
blow
That'll
to
impact them,
Andrews.
yeah. No, I don't listen to
taking
it as
money
much
away
as
from
I
me.
did. I have streaming, and I just it's gone up. It's got so expensive now, and I'm probably not going to use it.
No, I mean, you're talking about stocks, though. I mean, this was a company that people said was finished, and I bought it at 5 cents. And look, $3.52. That is a phenomenal investment. To see almost a 6,000% gain on top of that.
All right,
You didn't put the
let's
$6 in it.
let's switch
All right,
directions
before
here.
we do, I posted a link in chat to this utility that allows you to reinstall Windows XP from the ground up.
That's that
And you-
SendSpace.
It's in SendSpace, and the way you work it, that's a zip file. Unzip it. It will put a folder on your desktop. The file cannot be on a remote drive. It cannot be on a USB. It has to be on a local drive. Based on my experience, you may find a way to do it otherwise. Put it there, and you go into, there is a batch file inside the folder. You run that batch file, and then walk away and let it run. I've seen it take 10, 15 minutes. It has to go out and grab files. You have to be on the internet. It'll go out and grab files. Once it's done, it will create inside that same folder and run an executable file that executable file, it leaves that remnant in that folder. It deletes other files normally. It leaves the executable in that folder. I believe if you were to restart Windows, rebuilding it from the ground up, something went wrong, you installed it on the wrong drive, whatever. I believe you could reuse that executable on that computer, but I have never done it.
What about licensing?
Does this
There is no licensing. It's all part of Windows.
Does this do any good to run on a computer that is running and doesn't have a problem with updates and all that, but is slow at updating?
No.
Okay.
No. The solution to that is to let Windows Update run overnight.
Yeah. You have to.
Yep. I didn't want to believe it because I thought I was solving the problem, but even once I installed this on a computer, it had to run overnight. But once it did, it's been working right on Johnny on the spot. So.
Okay. I was gonna change directions, but I think
you may.
We're gonna Spence, how about specials?
Hey, before he does it, I'm gonna leave, guys. I got to get ready for brunch.
All right, Andrew. Thank you.
Take
Bye,
care.
guys.
Stay
Merry
medicated
Christmas,
through
happy
the holidays.
holidays.
That's the only way you'll make it through.
Yeah. I got.
Have a Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
And a Happy New Year.
Ho, ho, ho.
All right. Spence?
All right, we have some specials. I have the shortened edition. Okay, several good things out of H.H. Gregg. I know they're not everywhere around the country, but they've got some interesting stuff out there. 24-inch 1080p HD TV with PC input for $129.99. 7-inch 4-gig Android tablet. This is the piece of junk we're talking about earlier. If you're willing to give this a try, $49 with a $10 mail-in rebate. But they do have the Lenovo 8-gig Android tablet, 7-inch for $99. So at least with Lenovo, you're going to get a decent piece of hardware. They've got a Dell 32-gig 8-inch Windows 8 tablet for $249.99. That's at H.H. Gregg. At Office Depot, they've got a Ultra Tab, 9-inch Ultra Tab with front and rear facing cameras, $79.99. That's save $50 off the regular price. Asus 10.1-inch convertible laptop / touchscreen tablet, 2 gig of memory, 32 gig solid state drive, $329, save $20, and it comes with $25 gift card for the Windows Store to buy apps. Canon Pixma wireless printer scanner copier with two-sided duplex printing, $49.99, save $30. I've got an HP 17.3-inch i3 laptop, $429, save $220. Seagate portable USB 3.0 hard drive, $69.99. That's 1 terabyte, save $20. Western Digital 3 terabyte USB desktop drive for $129.99. 3 terabyte cloud drive from Western Digital, $179.99. The 2 terabyte version is $149.99. They've got PNY flash drives, 8 gig for $599, 16 gig for $999, 32 gig for $19.99. That's at Office Depot. At Staples, they have Apple TV, $84, $15 off the regular price. You can tell there must be some significant competition for the streaming appliance market with Roku and other devices with Chromecast. HP 15.6-inch AMD A6 processor touchscreen laptop for $429.99, save $200. They've got the typical entry-level laptop. In this case, it's a Toshiba. It tends to bounce back and forth between HP and Toshiba. 15.6-inch AMD E1, which is a dual-core processor, $249.99, save $150. That's at Staples. Tiger Direct has deals on monitors. As usual, 22-inch LED monitor for $99.99, 24-inch monitor for $129.99. They've got a 2 terabyte Western Digital Caviar Black internal 3.5-inch SATA drive for $149.99. They've got a 2000 VA battery backup system. This is a serious machine, serious battery backup. $169.99 with a mail-in rebate. They've got a 4-camera security system with a DVR for $99 after $30 mail-in rebate. Their regular price is $199. So that's quite a deal. And it says cloud technology. So apparently they do have the ability to remote access into this DVR. I believe the cameras are black and white, but they do have night vision capability. D-Link VGA Wi-Fi camera for $39.99. And they got a Samsung laser printer with wired Ethernet networking and two-sided printing, duplex printing for $79.99. That's at Staples. And finally at Best Buy. Now, maybe this isn't the best streaming device. Netgear's made a go at getting into the streaming market. So I think a couple of different iterations of this. But the Netgear Neo TV streaming player, $39.99, save $10. I know it does Pandora, Netflix, and YouTube. That's the 3 that they mentioned. There's probably more. 10.1-inch Asus AMD A4 touchscreen laptop for $249. Dell Windows 8 desktop PC with Intel dual-core processor for $79.99. Again, that's just a desktop. Save $40. And finally, Belkin dual-core N wireless router with USB connections. So not only does this support wired and wireless connections as well as being a router and firewall, it also lets you connect a USB storage device, whether it's a thumb drive or a USB drive, so you can share it on the network. $69.99 at Best Buy. And that's it. Let's rush right out and buy it.
Absolutely.
Actually, I did see something over at Staples. It's not a computer, but I've been wanting to upgrade my GPS. I have an older one. Works pretty well, but it's not upgradable.
What's wrong with the phone?
What's that?
What's wrong with the phone?
The phone's okay, but it's just not the most convenient thing for me to use all the time. And on a long trip, I'd rather just stick that thing up on the windshield.
Okay. Yeah,
and just let it run and be able to use my phone to call, talk, and stream music and things like that. So I'd like to have a dedicated GPS. I just like having it, and the prices are so cheap.
So what'd you find?
It's a Garmin Nuvi 40LM lifetime map updates, 4.5-inch, 4.3-inch screen, $79.99. It's $50 off. And they also have the next one up from that. I'm not sure. The 50LM, I don't know what the difference is. Maybe it has traffic, built-in traffic. That's for $89.
Yet they will not give you free maps for the older versions.
Nope.
Does that make sense?
Well, I've had 2 GPSs now over the years. One very early one, inexpensive early one that was
right.
I think I got it. I actually bought it at Staples on a Black Friday deal. I got it for, I think it was $99. It was I can't remember the name of it, but it was an off-brand European. Mostly the first time they were offering a U.S. mapped system. It was one that was sold primarily in Europe and Asia. What was it called? I have their newer version of it too, which works quite well, but it's dated. It's 3 or 4 years old, and there's no updates.
So you drive through fields. So what?
Oh, that's always fun. But no, I just like having being able to set it up there so I know time to destination and all those other things, and being able to just leave it there and not have to think about, well, if my phone rings, do I take it out of the cradle? And just, maybe I'm just old school when it comes to that. But
no,
I
see a use for it. It definitely makes a lot of sense. I mean, I'm talking, but I use my Garmin when I go out because you want the phone to be able to answer the phone, and it's nice. This is out of the way there, and it is 5 years old, and a lot of the addresses are not in it, but it gets you to where you need to go.
I find I use lately with work, because I go to so many different locations driving around, I use my phone to find a house.
Yeah.
But I don't use the built-in Apple map. I used Google Maps, talking directions and all that, because I find
Because you want to
better.
be able to get to the right place.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. One hysterically bad mistake that the Apple map did to me one time. It was so way off. It was just unbelievable how it could be so off.
Well,
But it was okay.
but the point here is, I mean, if you try to get maps for an older Garmin, it's about $70 or $80.
Yes.
So here you buy a new one, bigger screen, and lifetime.
Free maps.
Yeah,
No, I can deal with that.
I know. I may do that. I may actually do that.
And if it looks like the one, I'll have to look up this model, the 50LM Nuvi. I want to see what the difference is. Maybe that comes with traffic, which is also, that's one thing I do like about the Google Maps on the iPhone, is it does show you traffic. So, and I'm finding the impact on my data plan is negligible, because I don't use it much. I don't use it for constantly. I'll have I'll need to go to a for want of a better term, a service call, and I need to find a place. But it's usually just a 10 or 15-minute ride. I'd only turn it on. I know generally where I'm going, but if I just want to find a specific location, I'll enter the information in, and then it's like a 10-minute ride. And then I turn off the navigation software once I get there, so it's not draining my data plan or battery. So I'm going to go look that one up now and see what it is here. What are features? Nuvi 50LM.
So really, there is no one hot item for this Christmas season as a gift.
Sure, there is. You could get a crock pot. That's a hot item. You could get a warming tray.
All
That's
right,
a hot
Smith.
item.
All right, Smith.
Sorry.
Mike, I was reading your comments at the tail end of the chat. So, Cox may buy them?
That has been rumored. The guys out of Atlanta, WSB in Atlanta.
I sort of like heard a commercial of Time Warner. I saw it on TV last night, but didn't pay attention. But it's about something about a guy who's psychic, and he can tell what the guy, that coach, is about to tell him. And they mention 100 megabits. And I said, what? Didn't catch it again. Savage Pagan saying Comcast.
That's commonly circulated, and that may be accurate, but there was an article I read that said there are negotiations going on also with Cox.
Interesting.
It's almost like they're floating the Comcast thing to distract from Cox, or maybe Cox fell apart. Cox is considered the top provider in the country in terms of customer service. It's a small family-owned company, and that doesn't seem to mesh well with the Time Warner culture.
No, but we may, if that would happen, that would be very nice. I agree.
I wouldn't count on it. I was talking to a guy yesterday who works with AT&T. He actually is involved in installing all of the fiber and the internet and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
And I forget exactly what the number was. He said the AT&T goal is to have 20 megabyte up and down at every home by the year 2020.
Yeah, but what are they going to do for us now? They're still
happy.
way too slow.
They're really happy now.
Anybody here has Uverse
That'd be a
on the
good
chat?
question. I don't know.
In Raleigh, Durham, Chapel Hill. I'm still surprised that they cannot go over 3 megabits up. Spence, what do you have some people in your neighborhood
Who have it? Yes. Oh, it's based on DSL technology, and apparently they still can't get it to go that fast. By the way, on the GPS, Amazon has the 50 LM is just a larger screen. It's a 5-inch screen, lifetime maps. It is $89 on Amazon Prime, so you get it without tax.
That's a tablet.
Yeah. Yep. It is.
Yeah, that's a little bit too big. It's beginning to obstruct traffic when you put it on the windshield.
Well, what they do is they have a camera on the front of the GPS, and you just look at the GPS screen and drive through that.
No, I mean the other one. What was it? The other one is what?
4.3.
Yeah, that's good enough.
0.7 of an inch. And that one is funny. You check the prices on. It's actually cheaper at Staples. Well, not with tax though. Once you add the tax on, it's still cheaper to get it at Amazon.
And Amazon has both?
They have both. They have, if you do a search on the 50 LM, it'll show you. It'll say 4.3 base, 4.3 with lifetime maps, 5-inch base, and 5.3.
And how much is the 4.3 with maps? Are you looking at it?
I'll go back. I was just there. Hang on a second.
You don't remember how much it was?
It was like $86.
I thought you said that was for the big screen.
Now hold on a second. Let me go and look. Lost my marbles here for a second. All right. So the 4.3 inch with lifetime maps is $84 with Prime. So it's still you would be about the same price with if you bought it at what would tax be on $79?
Right.
So it'd be about the same price.
Okay.
But if you buy the 5-inch with lifetime maps, it's $89 Prime. So you're definitely making out better because it's shipping, no tax, and you're saving maybe $6 or $7.
Yeah, it's true.
And you can buy the 25-inch with assisted driving. You bolt it to the steering wheel, and it has gyroscope built and automatically turns the wheel for you.
Anyway, all right. So listen to this. The National Security Agency described for the first time a cataclysmic cyber threat it claims to have stopped on Sunday's 60 Minutes. Called a BIOS attack, the exploit would have ruined or bricked computers across the country, causing untold damage to the national and even global economy. Even more shocking, CBS goes as far as to point a finger direct at China for the plot. While the NSA would not name the country behind it, cybersecurity experts briefed on the operation told us it was China. The NSA says it closed this vulnerability by working with computer manufacturers, and Deborah Plunkett, Director of Cyber Defense at the NSA, says one of our analysts actually saw that the nation state had the intention to develop and to deliver, to actually use this capability to destroy computers. You know why this is worrying? Where's all the BIOS made?
China.
I'm not sure that's true.
What? Everything.
BIOS?
Who's putting the chips in all these computers?
Well, they may be putting them in there. But you said where are the BIOSes made? I believe they're done in the United States.
Well, I mean, okay, let's put, where are the BIOS put onto boards to computers that are being used? Probably 90% of them are being used, or maybe 100%. No, not 100%. In the U.S., in China.
Okay.
So HP may be sending whoever the factory in China 10,000 chips, BIOS chips, but that doesn't mean that China, the factory cannot take 10,000 other chips, program them with the same BIOS, but add something to it. I mean,
this is a non-problem. What are you going to do? You have no choice.
I would like to see a computer that's 100% made in the States and being,
Right.
well,
How much money do you have?
Yeah, I wouldn't be putting any money into that venture. But the computer made in the United States, first, for starters, it would have to be green. It couldn't use any power. It would probably have to have an Atom processor in it for power efficiency. It would have to, and it would probably cost $18,000.
And it would have to have an Obama kill switch in it.
Yeah. Well, they all have that now anyway.
Sure.
but just think about it. Here's a country that is accused of trying to kill a bunch of computers, and they have the ability to do that, or potentially have the ability to do it very easy. I wonder if Kerry is going to go there and sign a deal with them not to do it.
Oh, I want him representing my interests.
Well,
Yeah, it's incredible how Peter's principle is in play when people rise to the level of their incompetence.
and listen to this story here. A 28-year-old man in Sweden has been fined 4.3 million SEK, which is $650,000, for uploading one movie.
2,000 times.
No, just this. He was sharing one movie. 300,000 SEK of that was added because of the upload's low technical quality. That's Google translation of Swedish original. The court ruled that the viewer watching the pirated version of the movie had a worse experience than people watching it legally, thereby causing damage to the movie's reputation. One movie he uploaded to share. I mean, if you go in to upload a movie to be shared by anybody who wants to come get it, I mean, yeah, you should get smacked good. But, I mean, jeez. And to
So
add
if you're
to
going to bootleg movies, make sure you do it in full HD.
yeah. It'll be cheaper. Isn't that something? That the court there even thought about that. Or I guess it's the
Well,
The
I can
movie.
tell you what probably happened.
what?
He pissed off the judge. I've told people before, I'll tell you again. And I don't mean this as a religious statement. This is God with a lowercase g. But when you go into a courtroom, I don't care how ugly you think that judge is. He or she is God.
Yeah.
And Debbie makes the comment. She's noticed that a lot of YouTube videos have been taken down. YouTube is very aggressive on copyright enforcement, even to the point that they are taking down a lot of videos that are legitimately there that have no violation or do have proper licensing. And this is part of the discussion we were having recently, that it's time for YouTube to have some serious competition. because not only are is their service declining in terms of when you hit play and nothing happens, but they are taking down things that are legitimate, which means that they are overly aggressive, which means that they are so busy and so involved that they don't have time to pay attention to what the little guy's doing. And so seems to me that there's a golden opportunity for a competitor come along. That competitor certainly needs to enforce and respect the copyright owners' stuff, but they need to do it correctly.
Let me tell you the problem that I ran into with them. There were a bunch of Julie's shows that I found out that the music at the beginning was actually no longer free. Said, okay, no big deal. I went ahead and I used their, and when I uploaded them, there was a bunch, each one had a notice that there is third-party copyrighted music. And you click on it and it tells you where it is, and it's right in the beginning. So I went ahead and I trimmed it off using their utility. Took all that music in the beginning completely off. So when you start it, it's, hi, everybody. That's it. There's no intro. I figured, it'll get checked again. No, it's not checked again. It's still saying that, and it's still saying it's the beginning, and you click on it, and it doesn't know what to do. So I went, and I was trying to somehow straighten it out. They do not have an option under dispute that says, I removed. There is no such thing. Everything is a legal thing. There is absolutely no way to let them know that the music was removed. And that now there is nothing copyrighted on that video. I sent an email that hopefully will get to somebody saying, guys, there is something missing there. You are instructing people to remove it. Okay, so it was removed. Now what? This is over a week ago, and I haven't heard anything back, so I don't know if it actually... I mean, there's not really emails for YouTube that you can... that are good. But I really don't know, short of deleting them and uploading them again. But it's a lot easier to take the music out using YouTube's utility than for me to load it here into a video editor, take it out, save it again, render it again, and upload it. But I can't believe that they tell you that one of the points that they say to do, how to keep your account in good standing, is to remove all copyrighted third-party material. But they don't give you an option to notify them that, or to rescan that to see, okay, yeah, now it's okay. And it was frustrating because I spent some time on it trying. I said, come on, they got to have a way to do this. No, there isn't. Not that I could find. I don't know, Dr. John. I mean, he's saying, does YouTube have the resources to deal with that? Well, they have an automated thing that scans an upload and find out that it has music in it. Maybe what they should do is, I mean, if they just, if it was me building that website, I will add another radio button there. It says, problem corrected, rescan. And you click it, and their program will go and rescan it. It doesn't even need somebody to get involved. It's an automated thing.
They hate you.
It's just amazing that, look, it takes some doing to take down videos. That has to be an actual person goes and does it, because they don't just do it blindly. It has to be there, and it has to have that, and it has to be blocked by certain countries, and then they will take it down. Or if you dispute it, and the legitimate owner of that music disputes your dispute, then they'll take it to delete it, and if you don't, they'll take it down and count it against you. So there are people that are involved there. It's not just a machine.
John says perhaps remove and resubmit, but then you lose your viewer count.
It's not only this, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work.
Well, they don't give a rat's behind about how much work it is for you. That's
Well,
your
I
problem.
understand they don't give a rat's.
I think we ought to have NissanTube.com.
Yeah.
I'm not so sure how much. Look, I spend a lot of time watching things on video. One of the things that I'm learning how to do, I hope, is woodworking. It's my passion lately. I don't know. It might last another day. It might last another 5 years. But that being said, the reason that I've developed so much positive and attitude and enthusiasm for it is because there are so many YouTube videos that nail questions that I've had for years and never really knew where to get an answer.
Uh-huh.
And so, but even in these things, these guys see 30, 40, 50,000 views on a video. So what? What's the benefit? I mean, they might get a little check from Amazon. I mean, YouTube from now for what, $3, $4, $5, $6 every month or two, and nothing wrong with that. I'm not criticizing that, but really, isn't it much ado over nothing?
Debbie's asking how to take the music out. She says she's been asking me this. I just found out. If you go, Debbie, if you go to the channel to your channel on YouTube, and you go to the video manager, then you click the down arrow next to that particular video and click enhancements. When that comes up, you have a way to mark a certain area in the beginning and take it out, remove it, or at the end. Yeah, that's it. Video manager, enhancements, and then you have an editor there. I just play the music, and when it ends, I stop it, and that's it. Take it out. And it works great. I mean, it's great that they put that option there to do that. There were a couple of computers too now that had music in the middle from the days.
So it's my fault.
When we were playing music. Well, not just you. So I just removed them. I mean, it's no big deal. But it's, I just, yeah, you have to do it with hundreds of your YouTubes. Yeah, absolutely.
And look, I am not one to criticize YouTube for enforcing the rights of people who own that music.
Sure.
It's unfortunate that so many people don't understand the law, and it seems like an onerous burden on them to have to go back and to redo those things. However, that's the way the cookie crumbles.
Andrew is saying just use Daily Motion.
And what does he mean by that? Does he
I mean,
mean
you can upload it to Daily Motion and have it stored over there.
What's the limit of the video length of a video you can upload there?
I don't think there is, because there's a bunch of computers 2K now there.
Okay, so so Andrew, are you saying that people who upload to YouTube can follow the same procedure for uploading to Daily Motion? It works the same way? I know that we stream to Daily Motion, and they're great for that.
Yeah.
Limit of 2 hours, that's plenty. At least it's not some
No,
10 or
there is
15
no
minute
limit
thing.
of 2 hours because I've got computers to can now of 3 hours and longer, and it's there.
Interesting. Good.
I don't think there is a limit.
And then you can become, okay, that's sort of what I'm asking. He said that once you have a few uploads, you can apply to become an official channel.
Yeah.
Andrew is very tightly connected with those guys, and they seem to be doing a really good job. Oh, so
Yeah,
you're,
right.
you're
Andrew-
special and on Andrew.
No.
pulled
He
some
he
strings.
helped. Andrew helped a bunch of people. He helped a bunch of people do that. Yeah.
Cool. Well, I actually think that that's something that Debbie needs to be doing as well. And she should be creating also her channel over on Daily Motion as well. Now, let's look at this, Andrew. If you disagree, jump in, because I don't know. I'm surmising here. But the real benefit of YouTube is you get what I call drive-by traffic. I don't know what the official name for it is. And that is that you go into to YouTube, type in drugs and pills, and Andrew comes up. But if you'd have to Daily Motion, there, it's not unless you go there to know. If you know to go there, if you've never heard of Daily Motion, you would not necessarily be able to find what you're looking for by Google search. I don't know that, but I suspect that it's going to take a while for someone to establish reasonable dominance in the marketplace to be able to be a viable competitor to YouTube. Debbie says how to move to Daily Motion. I don't think you move to Daily Motion. I think you add Daily Motion to your mix. Whatever you upload to YouTube, you also upload to Daily Motion. And you may even find out that it gives you better service than YouTube does. YouTube, I mean, it's, to me, Amazon and YouTube and Google have to be three of the most amazing creations in the history of mankind to be able to deal with all the traffic that they're dealing with. How many hard drives, how many computers, how many servers, how many SATA cables. I mean, how many power supplies, keyboards, mice, AVMs, monitors. I mean, Ethernet cables, switches, bandwidth, internet. I mean, it's got to be absolutely fabulous.
It is. And Debbie, I can't remember what I did to add Daily Motion, but I registered and then Andrew took me through it. But yeah, it's free. And it's pretty good. But you have to upload it. You have to upload it there because I don't think they record it.
What do you have your stuff under?
Nissan Communications should be.
Okay.
I think if you click on Daily Motion under the video, then when it comes up, if you click on that should take you, I think.
I found it.
By the way,
you found it?
Yeah, I just did a search on Nissan Communications.
And
By
you
the
see,
way.
and you see all the other videos too?
Yeah.
Okay,
Psychic Cafe,
Yeah.
One
Yeah.
Chick Mama, Breaking Free.
right.
Cooking with Amnon. How to fold a shirt in one motion. Yeah, it's all there.
by the way, in the interest of full disclosure, and he does not mind me telling you this, in fact, probably he wants me to. Andrew does get paid by Daily Motion, so but he gets paid for them because he likes their service and they hooked up a deal. He's not advocating them because he gets paid for them. It was an egg and chicken instead of chicken and egg thing, and he wants to be very clear that he is an advocate for them and he does get paid by them, but he's not an advocate because he gets paid by them. You know, and it kind of gets me sometimes when people get bent out of shape. Oh, well, they're paying you. No wonder you're advocating. Look, your friends are the ones who are going to pay you. Your enemy's not going to give you the time of day.
Right.
And if you're offended by that, go do something else.
they carry your channel live too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is good.
That's not to say that there's never a possibility of a conflict of interest. This is John.
Hey, John.
Down in Florida, barreling up I-75 at about 75 miles an hour. So hopefully I'm coming through okay.
You are.
Good, because I'm using my Bluetooth headset too. I had a question about the capabilities. I guess the infrastructure for YouTube and Google. I mean, Mike, you were mentioning all the different components, but those sound like small school components. Aren't they really like back to the mainframe kind of thing, or I don't know, in my mind how that really is supposed to work.
Well, John, that's a question I've had all along, and they're not really forthcoming with very much information. As I understand it, they have only recently even released pictures of some of their server farms. But the fact of the matter is that even though they are, as you say, at the enterprise level, they do have access to enterprise equipment. The reality is, I don't think that there's a technology beyond rotating hard drives at this point. I mean, I don't think that we're sitting out here using 4 terabyte drives and they're using 1,200 terabyte drives. I don't think that's the case, but I could be dead wrong. I have no way of knowing. I would love to know the answer to that question. But in terms of server grade, I mean, if you get an IBM Blaze server or a Dell server, I don't believe that there's any better quality server than that. The HP servers are state of the art. They all have processors that handle file I/O. I mean, if you think about it, and if anybody wants to disagree with what I'm saying, go for it. I'm not a server guy, but it seems to me that handling file I/O is nowhere near the demand on a server that running a graphics user interface like Windows or iOS or something would be. Meaning that whatever the Xeon fastest processor you can get right now in a server, then they figure out how many hard drives it can handle, what the data path is that it can follow, how much bandwidth is available. And when that's done, they have to add servers. And if you look at this picture that was released, you will see racks and 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 racks of servers. I mean, it almost looks like an optical illusion.
It's more calculating sessions, because if you're delivering on-demand video to different people and it's a different session, meaning the file is opened at a different point, it's not point to multi-point, then it's pretty intense because you're serving up a stream of that particular file that has to be processed and sent out. If it's a live video, it's not that hard because it's point to multi-point, where it's essentially one stream leaving the server and then it's replicated out in the network.
And add Netflix to the mix. And I think I read somewhere recently that, those Netflix and I guess YouTube and Google, they really make up the majority of the internet traffic, which was kind of amazing to me. But when you think about it, maybe not so amazing.
Yeah, more than 40%.
Wow. And one other quick little thing, going back to what y'all were talking about, the 401k. I don't want 401ks to get really a bad name, because especially if you work for a company that has a company match. And I was lucky enough to work for a company that matched 50% up to 6% of your salary, and that's free money. Try to get young people just coming into the workforce to understand that. You're starting off ahead of the game, so that's a really a good deal.
But my only caution was not to try to find. Was hoping that the company would offer them multiple investment vehicles and not just have heavily dependent on the company stock.
It's Dave Ramsey and or Clark Howard, I forget which, said never put your own company stock in your 401k.
I think it's Dave Ramsey. Yep,
he said
that. And my company, well, I worked for an insurance company, which was a mutual company, although they did have one subsidiary that was a stock company, but so that made a difference. And they also have something called the guaranteed plan, which apart from all the stock and bond mutual funds, you depending on when in history, it'd be like 4%. You're guaranteed a 4% return, which is an earth shaking. But in these days, where your money sometimes gets you 1 or 2% is doing well. That's not too bad either if you want to be real conservative or if you're older. My only concern is the fees, because there are a lot of these funds within the 401ks have these fees, and they're not really hidden, but you got to dig for information about how much they are, and that over years that can add up.
John, my big issue with retirement funds in general, 401ks, IRAs, is for the most part, I don't know what the number is, it's got to be high 90%, are invested in the stock market. The stock market is nothing but a sophisticated crapshoot. And to think that the company's entire financial future is riding on the stock market, it blows my mind that this country could be so stupid.
Well, I'm probably right in there. At one time, I thought, if I was real aggressive with these stock funds, that I could end up with, in the the $1 million area of total growth and returns. But these little dips that aren't little, they really eat away. They could take away 20, 30, 40% of your fund's value. And if that happens 2 or 3 times over the course of a year as well, your returns aren't maybe as spectacular as you think they were going to be.
Yeah. Well, it scares me. I mean, I'm at the age where I have to be very careful about that sort of thing, and I'm invested in very conservative returns. But at one point, I looked back and saw the growth of the stock market, and then I saw the 2008 thing, and then for like a year after 2008, I didn't have the heart to look at my portfolio. Finally, I did, and found out I'd only lost 15% during the whole thing because I had gone the conservative route. And then all of that recovered, and then I started losing money in bonds.
They're going to get you one way or another, it seems like. The people who really know how to deal with those things, well, they're doing it for a living every day.
Right. Well, that's right, and it's like anything else. It's like I say to people when they go see judges or when they go to lawyers, these people do it every day. They day in, day out. It's what they do. They're comfortable with it. Don't think you're going to walk in there and match wits with them. They've gotten it figured out.
Right. Okay, well, I'm going to back out of here, guys. And would you do me a favor? Would you hang up on me so I don't have to be fumbling with this phone? Can you do that?
He can handle that. Yeah, he can do that.
Okay, thanks a lot.
He may be away from the computer. Take care.
You too.
Take care, John.
Yep. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Right.
So Charles is saying that he did an update to CCleaner and ESET alerted regarding an embedded toolbar.
I just did it, and there was nothing there.
Well, it may not be in every one of them. Sometimes they include random sorts of malware in these things, but his warning is a good one.
Absolutely.
In that anytime you download these things, particularly the Java updates, watch for Ask Toolbar and various ride-alongs they try to put into your stuff.
Yeah.
And sometimes they're getting really ugly about some of these things that if you say normal, then normal includes agreeing to install this toolbar. You have to click on advanced, and the only advanced function is to uncheck install the Ask toolbar.
Right. Don't just fly through these things. Read.
Yes, not anymore.
Yeah. And Tim was asking me earlier, Tim and I going back to the mid 80s with BBSs. But Tim is asking, do you ever use Google Hangouts? If yes, when and in what situations? If no, why not? And I told him I use it every day, but it's I don't use it in a business for a business purpose. It's a group of us that is into internet broadcasting. We just have something going on. It's almost all day long that you can drop in and out and talk about different things, and it's a very nice, and it matured a lot since the early days. It has good quality these days. There are some people that are actually doing a show like what we're doing here using Google Hangouts. Google Hangouts on air. So, yeah, he is an architect. How'd you know?
I'm smart.
It's a good utility. I don't understand. You're probably trying to figure out how you can take advantage of it, Tim. But I don't know what you're trying to do. What is the purpose of the question?
Google Hangouts are well established.
Yeah.
Like Amnon says, a lot of people use them as their broadcasting medium because just like Amnon now uses $1,000 worth of software to switch the video to create the 4-quad that you see on the screen, you can go into Google Hangouts where each of the participants has his or her own webcam. As you speak, it automatically switches to you. So it provides at least some level of video presentation beyond just a single webcam with other people talking in the background. The video quality is quite mediocre. The audio quality is mediocre or less. But for a business call or a family call or a fun call, you can get away with it. It's pretty lame. We saw a few months ago, we thought they were actually going to up the quality a little bit. Periodically, we would see a really good video. They introduced the studio mode, some things like that. And we thought that was going to be a help, but I haven't seen a lot of movement in that direction. Most people don't care about audio and video quality, unfortunately, so they get by with lowest common denominator.
Tim, no, we don't use it for broadcasting on air. And the Hangouts that we do are not open. As a matter of fact, they're very restricted.
We can send him an invitation one day and let him test it out.
It works. It works for what it's intended to. So Tim is still in the area.
Yeah, Tim. If do you have his email address, Amnon?
Probably.
And Tim, if you have a Gmail address, send it to Amnon. And what we can do one day is when we have a hangout, we can. They're private. They're very private. You have to know the secret word to get in, but we do invite guests in from time to time, and we would be glad to invite you in to see what it's like. And you have to, of course, what happens in the hangout stays in the hangout. You can't go public with anything Andrew says.
Yeah. I think I have Tim in my contact.
He said he was going to send it to you.
Yeah. Amnon at DeltaForce.net.
By the way, that synth
look
space
at
file.
this. Suddenly there's a whole bunch. No, just one person. But I don't think, I really don't think that TalkShoe is working, because every now and then I'll see something about it. Lost the connection. And I'm using your trick of putting. See, now it's not doing anything. The period. I guess I'm not connected.
Yeah, I see. You did put a period in, but I don't know when.
I don't. Yeah, I did that before, but right now I see.
Yeah, mine's not either. It wants to die on us.
And there is no. Of course, I wonder if it has to do with the fact. No, the 2 hours.
No, it just if it sees no
There
activity.
is no way to refresh it.
Don't know.
There isn't.
The connection to the server has been lost. Click OK
Yeah.
to attempt to reconnect.
I know,
And
but
hit
there's no
OK.
way. There's no way to generate that. To force it to do it. I was looking here to see if I can.
Yeah, so you've already put 5 periods in there.
Well, I don't see them here. Let me put.
Make sure you didn't scroll. You have scrolled at the bottom, and now
yeah,
and
I
when it
don't see-
refreshed, it allowed me to put them in there too.
Here, do you see 3 of them now?
Yes.
Well, you see, I don't see anything.
Make sure
And-
it's scrolled down at the bottom.
There,
The horizontal scroll down at the bottom above submit chat message. Make sure you're scrolled all the way to the right.
you know, that is really strange because where's the? I don't have a scroll here. But if I maximize it, I see it all right next to it. But if I minimize it to a smaller screen, I don't see any of it, and there is no scroll bar. Oh, no, wait a second. I'm sorry. There is.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not very... Okay, so there was somebody, but not anymore.
Yeah, there are people who have come in and checked it.
Yeah. All right. Those of you that don't understand what we're talking about, we started using TalkShoe again to bring some more people into the mix. And it's limping along, but it does something.
Something.
It does something. Let me switch here. Normally, Mike will say something.
Now I'm reading something else. I actually met a guy yesterday. There's some people out there who just restore your faith in humanity. As I mentioned earlier, and I've mentioned, I'm trying to learn a little bit about woodworking. It's kind of my new hobby. It's something I want to learn to do. I don't have a garage. I don't have a shop. I've got enough equipment to have a shop. There's a woodworking group on the internet of North Carolina woodworkers. I joined that group several months ago. I've really enjoyed the conversations I've had. I've learned things. I've built a few projects, gotten some positive feedback on it. It turns out that there's a problem that I had, and I posted on there a really stupid way of trying to solve a problem, and all of a sudden people started responding. And there's actually a guy who lives about a mile from here who has a double-car garage and has a beautiful woodworking shop in his home. And he invited me to come over and use his table saw to do some things I wanted to do, just as a test, as a curiosity. And so I went over there yesterday, and just a delightful guy. He ran this board through the table saw, caught twice, cut off the piece I wanted to cut off. It's a piece of throwaway wood I got out of a dumpster. I was curious what the quality of the wood was, so he cut off the edges of it. He then took it over to his jointer. He jointed the edge, took it over then to his planer, planed the opposite edge, which made it perfectly parallel. Went back to his jointer with these perfect edges, jointed the odd edge, in which made it a perfect 90 degrees. Took it back to his planer, planed the opposite edge, which made the whole thing a perfect rectangle with beautiful crisp edges. I took this piece of throwaway wood out of the trash can and turned it into a beautiful piece of soft pine, and which, of course, was not good because now I know where I got to spend all my money. So I opened up the website here today, and he sends me an email, and here's what he says. He said, "It was great to meet you yesterday. I enjoyed the conversation. Let me know how your workshop planning decisions go, and stop by if you need to use any of the tools I have."
Nice.
Mike, did you see what Tim is telling you?
Bill Cosby used to say, if you screwed something up in the shop, you just put a notch in it and call it an ashtray. And, you know that, yes. But what's funny about it, and it's not really a joke, is the trick to becoming a professional woodworker is learning how to hide your mistakes.
Oh, that's
I'll be right
for
back.
sure. We just put down a new laminate floor in a basement apartment, and some of the trimming that was done of the pieces of laminate were not exact. So my job was going around putting the molding back after the job was over. So it was a challenge for me to.
How'd you get the molding out without tearing it up?
Well, they carefully removed it. Some of it was damaged, some of it wasn't. Some of it I put down new quarter round.
Painted or stained?
It's stained.
Ooh. you have to restain it?
Somebody's going to do it. We weren't responsible for that. They're having somebody come in and paint and stain.
Okay.
So, but I had a challenge in some areas trying to get the molding to cover some of the edges that didn't look exactly right. And I got a little trick where I would put in a drywall screw at the bottom of where the molding would go in. So I basically make a standoff. So the molding would, instead of laying flat, would tilt out slightly. So it would give me just enough to cover up the little gap. That works good, but if you have pieces of pre-joined molding that are cut to 45-degree angles, that kind of messes up the ends.
Mm-hmm.
But it worked out pretty good. I got to use my new Ryobi brad nailer that runs on battery only.
Ooh, I'm a fan.
It has a built-in compressor. No, the Pazload ones that they have are wonderful, but they're very expensive to run. They're battery, and they have the CO2 cartridges.
Right. There's commercial grade, though.
Yeah, but they are. But this Ryobi one, it's battery. It runs on their one battery technology, but it literally has a built-in compressor.
90
so you pull the trigger,
seconds.
the compressor fires, and it drives the nail. And it does up to 2-inch brads, 16-gauge brads. So I used it for all the finish trim that I was doing.
I just got it. Well, since we talk woodworker now, nobody's got anything else to talk about. If you want to go back to computers, go ahead. But one of the things I got for my birthday was a Craig K5 pocket hole jig. Came with a sampling of screws. I have 5,000 screws that will be here Monday. I mean, this thing is unbelievable what it can do. You talk about pulling two pieces of board together.
Yep.
It'll pull it tighter together than you can do with a clamp.
You're going to be doing a lot of screwing, huh?
Every chance I get.
I've been using my new Porter Cable portable planer. When you put down a laminate floor, everything now is an inch higher, so you got to trim all the doors off.
Ooh.
So,
you got an electric planer?
Yes.
I have one too. I've had it for 10 years. I've never used it.
I've got a portable one and I've got a tabletop one.
You got a tabletop planer?
It's a 12-inch or 10-inch Delta.
Jointer or planer?
Planer.
Oh.
Planer. Which is wonderful for, like when you went to this guy's house, it's wonderful for reusing wood that you thought was useless. That can be repurposed.
Do you have a metal detector?
No.
You better be careful. You'll be buying blades.
No, I realize, and I'm very careful what I run through this thing.
So which planer do you have? The 734 Delta? Yeah.
It's old. I know they have a refreshed version of it. I've got the older one. It's got to be 20 years old.
Okay.
But it was my uncle's. And in fact, I ordered a bunch of parts for it. I got new blades, but unfortunately, the alignment tool, I've been trying to order it from different places. I can't find it anywhere. But
You don't have a jointer, do you?
No.
I've got one, but I don't know how to work it and I don't know how to set it up. It's 50 years old.
My radio arm saw is about 40 years old.
Mine's 50 years old and the motor's burned out on it.
I have a
where's that noise
Craftsman
coming
table
from?
saw.
I don't know where that's coming from. Maybe that snowstorm in Spencer's.
No, I got the audio down.
Well,
There's no
wait. Be quiet a second. It's coming from John.
Oh, he wanted you to hang up on him.
Oh,
You were away from the mic.
okay. There we go.
There you go.
Sorry. Go ahead.
That's all right. Yeah, I tell you, you see things that you know instantly are right. And yesterday I saw that. I was just blown away. Of course, it doesn't take too much to impress me in woodworking anymore because I know so little. But I did learn one thing over the last 2 days. I've been having some pretty bad back trouble, so I haven't been able to do what I wanted to do. And one of the things I've learned is that the lumber you buy at Lowe's or Home Depot totally not standard, unique, properly dimensioned. I went in there. I spent 2 hours in Lowe's a couple of days ago. What I learned is that you can go look at a 1x4. It can vary by as much as an eighth of an inch in width from one end to the next.
Yep.
An eighth of an inch. Now, you try to build something out of wood, and the reason you buy that size lumber is because if you're like me, you don't have the ability to rip a board. Then you try, if you need 1x3s, you buy 1x3s, you glue them all together. Doesn't work that way. If you don't have a jointer and a planer, you're going to end up with very crappy looking projects unless you have enough wood that you can select which boards you're going to use. I mean, there's some things you can do, but you got to, it's like anything else. You got to learn how to do it. You got to learn what you're doing.
I'm just reading what Tim put in there. Yeah,
But
that's
the cat
bad.
has jumped up on the back of my chair. Look at him here.
Yeah, be careful,
looking at-
Spence. Don't
He's looking at the snow.
don't move any farther back because you're going to fall off the balcony and into
That's
the.
right. He's looking at the snow.
I have completed one woodworking project, and I now have orders for about 50 things.
Good.
My wife's uncle used to be, every year you got a gift from Uncle Johnny that was something he made in his wood shop. And it could be as simple as a newspaper stand. It was just a little stand that would sit on the floor that would come up and had a T-brace going across it. And it was a place that you could put the newspaper next to your chair. But it was still simple things. A calendar holder. Every year, Williamsburg publishes a Williamsburg calendar that's always the same size. So he gave everybody that year a calendar and the frame that the calendar fits into. So every year now, for 20 years, we get the new Williamsburg calendar, and it goes into the frame from Uncle Johnny. And
I like
you'll
that
always,
stuff.
always remember him because of all the cool little step stools and little things that he made. Out in the front yard, there's a butterfly that had a rain gauge in it. That was one of the projects one year he made. The rain
I love
gauge
that
is
kind
long
of stuff.
gone.
My wife loves the rustic, the more the shaker style things where it's actually made with pine. It's made with crappy lumber. It's blotched up and painted and all that. And they're little cute things. I mean, it's these guys in this woodworking group. They can make furniture that rivals anything you can buy in a furniture store, and it's made with better quality wood. But that I don't think I will ever be able to get to that point. That's just too far from point A to point B for me to get there, considering how much time I have left. I hope as long as I can maintain my health, which I'm very fortunate to have done so, and my hands don't
Knock
shake
on
and
wood.
all that, I think we should be able to hopefully have some fun with it.
Mike, did you paint that piece or you
I did.
stained it?
I painted it.
Okay.
And I learned a whole lot making this little project that Amnon's talking about. I made an A-frame ladder shelf. My wife saw it, or my daughter saw it on Etsy or somewhere. Said, "Oh, I really want one of these." And you wouldn't believe how much time it took me to make it. But I did it very deliberately. I tried to learn along the way, because next time I make one, I don't want to run into any of those same problems. And I really learned a lot from the project as I got into it. And this is actually an accomplishment for me, because actually as I got into it, I saw ways to make it better and to improve on it. And I resisted doing that, decided to stick to the plans, and I decided that I was going to make one exactly like the plans, and if I didn't like it, I'd throw it in the trash can. But I stuck to it. I learned a lot. Now, if I want to go back and modify it, then I can apply those same techniques, and I won't be dealing with learning the techniques as well as accommodating the modifications. So I think that was a pretty good idea. I mean, even if you watched what was a New Yankee Workshop, Norm would always build one, and then he would do the TV show and build the second one.
I love to copy things because you learn a lot. This is something that was a very easy thing to make. If you can figure out what this is, it's a little folding stand for a musical instrument, in this case a banjo. And I saw it, I was watching a TV show and I saw that people had these stands, and I said, I can make that. So I just looked at the pictures of it and I said, well, I can make something that works just like that folds up. And Yeah, I made a few changes to it, and I actually still haven't finished it yet. It still needs to be stained.
How long
But-
ago did you make it?
Oh, 2 years ago.
All right. I mean, 2 years, that's not too long to finish up something.
No, but I actually came up with a way. These hooks are just the kind of standard hook you could buy for a ladder in the garage, but because they had the like yellow plastic on them and it looked awful, I cut that off and I just put some clear tubing on there to protect it. And I bought the little furniture protector things and stuck them on here for padding. And the nice part about it is you fold it up and you can take it with you. I'm not playing as a musician anywhere, but if I did, I have my little portable stand I could take with me. And,
So hold it. IM9 just went full screen on you, so hold it back up again. And there's a chain to keep it from spreading too far.
yeah, it's a chain. It's a chain that you fold it, and the chain opens it up, and it keeps the angle properly. And
What kind of wood is it?
Pine. Just repurposed garbage that I picked up somewhere and cleaned it up. And
Now, when you cut it out, that you used a jigsaw?
I have a table jigsaw.
Yeah,
That
a
I
scroll
use.
saw?
Yeah, but it's a band. Actually, it's a small bandsaw.
Okay, bandsaw.
Yeah.
Did you cut
I
both
used-
pieces at the same time?
I cut both pieces at the same time.
See, that way you can get away with murder because it doesn't matter if the curve is not right as long as it matches.
Exactly. And you can look at it. You can see it's it's not perfect. But, hey, it's unique, and it does the job. It matches the floor in my office, and I just love doing little things like that.
I do too. I want to learn to do things I can do in a hurry because I get bored kind of easily.
Yeah, that's why metal work for me is not the same. I took a welding class, and I have used my welder to repair things, but I've never actually made something with it. Which I have a bunch of scrap stuff that I've collected, rebar and all kinds of. I have this idea that I want to make animals for the yard out of weld them together, and I just have never gotten to it.
So Kent's asking the question. He says, I have a PCIe 5.1 channel 32-bit 3D audio PC sound card. Forget all that. You've got a sound card. It says I was listening to the show through the sound card, and it sounded like an echo was in the audio. Any idea how to fix? Well, you have to find out what the source of the echo is. I mean, an echo could be anything. It could be a mixer problem. It could be a sound card problem. And there's not really enough information, Kent, to help you trace that down that I can think of. The only one thing that I would check is to go into your properties for the sound card, go into the recording and the playback settings. Make sure you do not have listened to this device checked, because that creates a feed through that often creates an echo or a funky sound. Then also compare it with playing a file on your computer. Does it sound like an echo when you're playing the file on your computer? Disconnect cables to try to find out where the echo or the second sound is coming from. You just have to employ some logical troubleshooting steps to try to identify the source. Turn your auxiliary sends down one at a time to see if where the return audio is coming from. You just have to try to isolate it. Well, we done?
We done.
Done?
We done is done.
By the way, Spencer, how busy are you guys?
You mean from what perspective? I mean,
That is
handyman work?
Yeah, how busy are you and Mike?
Very busy.
Yeah, is
Busier
it
than
the
I
time of the year or what?
I thought he told me it was going to slow down this time of year, but it has not.
I have a project for him if he wants to give me a call.
Sure. He's in Chicago through next week.
It's probably a one-day project, but
Yeah.
it requires some pretty sophisticated knowledge of molding and wainscoting and things like that.
I like the longer projects that we're doing a basement apartment renovation. But some of the small stuff is very rewarding to go in and find somebody's got a problem with something. I mean, this is more repair than it is project stuff. But
Yeah, mine's a modification. It's actually a good little project, but the trick is to matching some of the woodwork that's there.
yeah, I've got to quote a brick steps repair I figured out how to do it, like repoint the brick without making a mess and just having all different types of mortar around. Because I took Google. The reason this ties into the computer concept subject is that because I went to look at the address, and sure enough, there was a Google view of the house where I've got to go do the quote. And I'm looking at, I can actually see the steps and the condition of the steps right from the Google Street View. I was able to put together an estimate without even going to the house.
Wow. That's great because I know back when we built our house, the city was able to do inspections without even riding by.
Yeah, that's pretty suspect. Trust me, it's good.
Yeah. All right. Well, Merry
All right.
Christmas, everyone.
Merry
Everyone
Christmas.
who's listening in, thanks for doing so. You make it worthwhile.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah, our pay comes from the satisfaction of maybe helping somebody just a little bit.
And there will be a show next week.
Definitely will be. Definitely.
We're doing that
All right.
remote from Australia next week?
Be all right with me.
Go ahead, Dan.
Amnon said he was going to fly us all down there. That's what he said.
Yeah. Amnon not leave the house.
Dan saying one last question, Mike. Well, there it goes. Why are you asking Mike this? You need to ask me. Why can't you?
Which link?
You know, the one on the left where it says donate.
I didn't know there was one there.
Yeah.
We take Bitcoin.
If I click donate, it's not doing anything, is it? Oh, no, there it goes. What happens when you try to do it, Dan? I heard that from other people, but then when I went through it with PayPal, they say, yeah, everything is working. I have no earthly. It doesn't recognize my PayPal. It states that it doesn't recognize my account, but I don't remember the words quite interesting. I guess I need to try it again. You know, when multiple people tell you something is wrong, there's got to be something wrong.
There's something wrong.
There's something wrong. Something is wrong. Wrong. Can you say that? Wrong. All right.
Can't say it that way.
Does that mean it will go to the right place or to the next show? What?
Well, just give us your PayPal login and password, and we'll take care of it for you.
We'll fix it.
Every day, so maybe just me.
We'll see to it that the money is well spent.
All right, so yes, like Mike said, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, everybody. We will be here next Sunday. Any of you who are off, most of the time the show after Christmas is the liveliest show. So we'll see. I don't know. But let's say good morning to Kathy, Hannah, Nabil, Mac, Norm, Katie, and Donna. Thank you, everybody, for tuning into Computers 2K Now. We hope you enjoyed and maybe learned something from our time together. Remember to practice safe computing. Back up your hard drive and update your virus scanner. Like I said, we'll be back here next Sunday at 9, but you can always reach us at computers2know.com. While you're at it, like us on Facebook. And go ahead and like our YouTube channel, Nissan Communications. Tomorrow morning at 11, it's the Health In. And at 1 o'clock. Oh, no, actually, tomorrow there are no shows. They're both away. So we're going to take a break. Bye, everybody.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. Our weekly lineup of call-in programs includes Computers 2K Now with Amna Nissan, Sundays, 9 a.m. till noon. Health In with Debbie Bruck, Mondays, 11 a.m. till noon. Breaking Free with Marilyn Shannon, Mondays, 1 till 2 p.m. Lessons of Vietnam with NCVVI members, the second and fourth Wednesday of each month from 7:30 till 8:30 p.m. Reawaken Your Brilliance with Julie Seibert, Wednesdays, 9 till 10 p.m. And if you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it at www.nissancommunications.com. Sponsored by ThatVidBlasterGuy.com, CarolinaApparel.com, and DeltaForce.net.